For the S&P 500. We got some more comments from the ECB. Remember, we got that interest rate decision this morning from the European Central Bank that did cause a little bit of a flip on the day for the US dollar. So dollar strength right now in a pretty big way. This is a daily chart for the DXY. So we did start the day once again downside here. We have reversed significantly, ripping back higher. ECB policymakers saying March pivot would pave the way for rate cuts, most likely in June. So European Central Bank saying rate cuts likely in June to start discussing future rate cuts in March as well if data points to inflation hitting 2% this year continue to support that argument. So Frank Kaberna coming up this afternoon. We'll get his take on the ECB rate decision, first of all, from this morning, and then some of these comments coming through as well. Again, rates downside for the most part. We had that 7-year auction that came in a little bit lower. 7-year right now back to 4.09, 30 years lower, 10 years lower as well. But dollar ripping right now, not helping things as far as the overall market is concerned. A few things moving around. We had a profit warning from Humana this morning that has UNH downside to the tune of 6.3, thank you, Ramin. 6.3%, starting to roll over again back to 480 for UNH. Pretty ugly day. Front and center there to the downside. Yeah, Tesla, ugly day as well. 12% at this point. Yeah, day lows for the market here, but I mean, context, the S&P is exactly flat on the day. NASDAQ only down 0.35. Oil futures still up more than 2% on the day. A lot of green still on this board, helping to offset some of the selling that's coming back in now, including Caterpillar. Nice day back to highs there. Tech across the board pretty strong. Ahead of Intel tonight. NVIDIA still holding up the best. Actually, it's AMD holding up the best. Intel tonight. NVIDIA positive though. Broadcom downside. Let's talk about what we were discussing if you were with us in the pre-market this morning. We had a whole bunch of things to get through. Yeah, I was trying to find more comments on that UNH report this afternoon, but wasn't able to. But there's a whole bunch of things that we were discussing this morning. Obviously, Tesla, top of the list. A lot of different ways you can look at this. There was, concerns over demand going forward. There was lots of talk on this new model from Elon in the call. He seemed pretty happy with the whole thing. Still, a ton of positive momentum for the company. Anyways, guys, Fabian, I'll hit that refresh button right now.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, wow, what a freaking wild day. We're $7 in the money now, not on Tesla, it's on AMD. Like, as if that keeps tanking down. We actually tried to go long. We are long Tesla right now. We had this short, man. The problem is I was very, very frustrated because I got out at that 186 right there. Like, it had finally held above the 50 period, and I was just like, nah, I'd hate for this to turn around. And we got out, and then this happened. So anyways, we were in and out of some longs. We had a long right there up to 182.50. Same long, 181 flat. That's what we're long right now. I'm just trying to hold it against this 180. If 180 breaks, then we're gone at that one. So it's just, it's been a wild, wild ride there for Tesla. I bought some in my own personal account at that 186 marker. I'm now going to wait. I said on the sticky note today that we'd have that 3-day rule. We're going to wait for it. But man, we nailed this today. We were short in the pre-market. We were short when the market opened up, and it just fell down, and we took $7 or whatever that was at 186. But or $5. Well, 192, 186, 756. Anyways, it was pretty bad. And then right there, I thought we were going back up. I was watching this. We were $1.50, 60 in the money, and I was like, nah, let's see if we can get that huge move back up to the upside, and just didn't come through for us. But hey, man, what an exciting day, Neil, as Tesla continues to be, I mean, the stock that we thought it was, honestly. There was a lot of pressure on this show.
It was who we thought it was.
Yeah. Good one.
Well, they are who we thought they were.
They are.
What's crazy about this is right when we came on, and I can't even make it up. I've been only short EV names today, and then just as we came on, I had taken my first long position in Rivian because that looked like it was trying to go, and my first long position in NIO. So look, Rivian, like Tesla, Sean's gone over that. He was all over Tesla today. These other names, Rivian's actually not as bad. Because Rivian broke that 15, it got down to 1460, double bottom, and then it held above 15 for a bit. I went long, on that, looking for a reversal play. I mean, I felt like, wow. I mean, my take on this was it's been so bad. You know, Tesla's holding 180, Rivian broke to 15, and it's right back trying to hold that big low. Look at how depressed it is. Even a small rally back up would have been a good long. Now, obviously, hindsight being 2020, if I had just jumped back into the short up there and said, screw it, these are going down forever, then I'd be sitting in another short. So I got away from that. It's still obviously like a short till it's not. Like, I mean, I'm looking in the morning shorts on EV names, but yeah, you flip to the long and it's like instantly wrong. And then the same thing happened on NIO. The only difference with NIO is I was never trading it today until it made that double top break. I think a couple of people in the chat were also talking about this during the midday. And I was like, look at this breakout, let's go. It broke to 6s, it got to 5s, and then just couldn't hold on to it. I'm still in Fisker because Fisker is Fisker, although that's been holding around VWAP. Fisker went 90 to 80 yesterday. Today it went 80 to 73. I don't know what to tell you about these EVs, but like if Tesla doesn't hold the 180 level, like what are we looking at here for Tesla? Just in a general, like the daily on this chart, whoops, there is my, I don't want to draw a new
I'm
line.
getting out if it doesn't hold it, that's for damn sure. But
Okay, now my trend line's gone. Anyways, when you draw this trend line in here, you get about 165 as the bottom. I can just put it back. I don't know why it just disappeared. There you go. That's about right. 165, 170 on Tesla. That feels like the go zone for the bottom of the trend line. And it gets down to that price. I know I'm going to be buying it. Well, buying more shares. I already own shares, let's be real. If it gets down there, we'll take a shot. But we keep saying it over and over again. Sometimes let the market dictate you what. So what the market's been telling us is that EVs boo, big cap tech yay, and chips yay. So until that's proven otherwise, I think you should just be looking the other direction.
All right, let's talk some semiconductors here. There was a note on Microsoft, but GameStop actually moved on this, so just a heads up. This came through this morning. We were talking about the 1,900 job cuts that they announced after the Activision deal went through. So Microsoft saying they're cutting the entire physical game department at Xbox as well, signaling a move for Microsoft set to move entirely away from physical media in the near future. It's expected that the next version of its Xbox Series X console will be digital only. Yeah, so that's from Inside Gamer just coming across. So GME actually moved up on that. There was some volume there.
And that's the next gen of gaming, Brendo, is supposed to be you don't even download. You stream the game. You don't even download it on your console anymore. So interesting.
Yeah, so moving more towards the cloud for gaming on Microsoft. We can talk about semis. I mean, it's just been an absolute crazy day with individual movers. I mean, maybe the angle you take on this is Intel coming up tonight. So something to look forward to. Make sure you join Sean for the recap after the close. You'll have Intel as it happens tonight. So interesting look today for all of these.
I'm going to be all ears to hear about what Pat Gelsinger has to say on the call with respect to the expansion of his foundry business. We know that this business is transitioning from a design chip company to the actual manufacturing side with many foundries under construction all over the world, essentially.
It's been a good start for chips as far as earnings, guys. We'll see if it continues tonight. This candle, however, not looking great going into the report.
Yeah, there's none of the candles look that great as strong as semis have been. Because
today was like a retirement day, man. Like honestly, and I almost got retired the wrong way. Like, look at this move up for AMD. Like, what the hell am I doing? Short, 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 short. Like, we have some wins in here on the short, right? But we kept getting taken out, pretty much all of the tops, until we didn't up there at 185. Now we have a small piece. I mean, we got a lot of this out when it came right back into this area. And so that's a short at 185. These outs are 182 and change. AMD absolutely fell down. We had Josh Brown apparently talking about getting out of some of his positions. And I was like, what? I got out yesterday and it didn't affect the stock. This guy gets out now and the stock tanks. Yeah, nice move downside there for AMD. NVIDIA, they all fell. So we'll wait to see. Yesterday we got out of some NVIDIA around I don't know, 620 something. So now it's down to 609. So that's looking like a good out there. But of course I put more money to work in Tesla. So we'll see what's happening with that today. But yeah, we sold yesterday. We thought they were getting a little too high, We got out of some of these trades there, but play the pullback. We're $7 in the money now. We're just going to wait on this, man. I can't believe AMD's a bigger winner on the dollar side of things as far as 7 versus 6. I'm down on AMD, so that doesn't even matter. But nice move back in. That was like a day saver there. We were down a lot, and now we're down a little. So AMD continues to make a move lower here. I'm just going to hold it.
Yeah, and really the reversal in the chips, maybe it was incoming after you had like TSM, SMCI, ASML, and then today on Lam, like Lam had good earnings too, and they barely moved to the upside. Like it was not that big of a move like you had in ASML, and they didn't do any worse. They did just as good. For me, I found I was just in Micron, I'll get there in a second, but Marvell, for whatever reason, when the chips were strong this morning, Marvell never was. I don't know the explanation for it. I just know that's the case. Like it just went straight down. Everything started rallying and it didn't. I'm trying to jump back into this off the 71 level. If anything, this 70, 75 as well. Looking at 2 days ago, you had this 2-day resistance. I guess that'll be like Monday and Tuesday at 70, 75. Like that's where I want to base any bounce shorts off of on Marvell. Down 3%, but this was never good. At any point today, this wasn't strong. The other one I gave up too early. I'm going to slap the fail on myself because I was in Micron here. Right before we came on, I was like, Micron's breaking VWAP, let's go. I reloaded it and then got out of VWAP. But Micron about to go right down into its opening range bottoms, shorting any pop into VWAP on that name as well. So I want to short pops on Marvell, Micron anywhere into that VWAP. The market is now red. The chips have started to give it back. Just because I see SMCI up there, we'll show you this too. SMCI just went red on the day.
I thought
like
it
2
would have been
seconds
way
ago.
worse. Okay.
Well, see, this is the weird thing about SMCI. It's not really moving today.
No.
It had a $10 range the entire morning. It just broke that to the downside. I would expect it to have been already at 460. Maybe the excitement's out of it. What's crazy about this, maybe the excitement's out of it. When these pull back, why is SMCI holding these highs? I actually think that's impressive that you're getting the pullback in AMD that you are and all the other chip names, but SMCI, where's the $20 drop? That's what it's supposed to be doing.
Just real quickly here, because some people are asking what I'm doing. So Tesla right now, we are short. Sorry, we're long Tesla. We're looking to get some out here at 81.50. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. I do not know what's going on right here with it, but we're going to see if we can get it going here. It's Tesla, just trying to figure that stuff out. So Tesla right now, we're on it. 81.50 is my first target here to see if we can get something out. 81.50 Tesla.
All right, GME, it's worth mentioning, still going almost back to day highs on that Microsoft note. Intel started the day pretty well, back to basically flat ahead of their report. We'll talk on Intel. I'm sure a little bit more coming up throughout the afternoon as well. AAL was another one. I mean, these airlines across the board really strong today. 10% here, trying to get back to day highs as the market's at day lows for AAL. Better than expected report for them this morning. They pointed specifically to European routes and transcontinental routes coming up for summer travel, and demand still more than they can keep up with.
Yeah, a lot of demand for transatlantic routes like there was in the summer of 2023. But I know they beat on the top and bottom line for the report here for American. The only issue was it was a one-off charge that really did affect their profits. They made about $803 million last year on the quarter. This year, by comparison, they only made 19. That's owing to that new labor agreement they have with their pilots.
Yeah, so the entire group to the upside today, guys, thanks to that report.
I just took a piece out right now on Tesla, so go ahead.
No, just actually, I'm going to get back into NEO here, give it another chance off that $6 level. I'll get to that in a quick second. AAL, we talked about this in the Real Deal and this morning. On earnings plays, like generally speaking, it's just better if a stock moves into a new price range because then something new is happening and shiny new thing is a breakout. AAL's up 10% today. And you can see the 1475 that it broke out. It took the stairs up. I did miss. And that's sort of the thing. Like you can have FOMO over missing a trade, but we said in the morning, I didn't think AAL was going to be at the top of my execution list because I was only going to be looking at EVs at 9:30. And to me, that was the right call because you have to prioritize something over the other. But AAL ended up being a rocket ship to the upside, for lack of a better term. Not that they make rocket ships. I did not look at it. I did not look at LUV. I didn't even look at Even look at Alaska Airlines. AAL was the one breaking out the top, and it's stair-stepped to the upside since it made that break. It pulled back into resistance and continues to go higher. Up 11%, I'm not chasing this move. I think it's a little bit far gone at this point, so I don't see any afternoon trades for me there. One note, which is somewhat adjacent to this, I guess. Boeing, if you can see what's happening, Boeing made it back down to the recent low, which is like 198. There it is on the right down in here on the daily. Bounced and is now barcoding at $200. And I mean straight up barcoding for Boeing. Just look at it going sideways for a potential break. Were the market to make a bounce, were this to get above VWAP, that would be a little bit spicy. So I'm going to keep my eyes on Boeing. It's having a bad day. It's down 6%. Obviously, it's still been under a lot of pressure. But it made the same double bottom since the door fell off. It's had the same low. Well, it just made a double bottom today. And it's trying to put in a higher low. Sometimes you get a decent bounce when you have that setup.
Yeah, sometimes you'd be like,
popped off or fell off? I guess popped off.
Popped off, yeah. Dropped off?
Well, it didn't. The door didn't fall off. Like it
Right.
pops off. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Door came off.
Yeah, door came off. It's not
All right. I don't have anything to do. I mean, I talked about this earlier that I wouldn't be looking at airlines, and I didn't. We talked about that Jets ETF. I would go over there if you wanted to have some fun in the airline space. And of course, with more earnings coming through, you have to wait for Alaskan and all that. They've already come out. But UAL, obviously a big name there. I'm still watching out for this Tesla. It came up to this 81.40 area that we had talked about. We got out at 81.20 there, or 25 or something, on a rip to the north side. We just have to wait to see if it wants to keep on going there. We have Tesla right there. We have PayPal. We'll talk about PayPal near the end. But yeah, AAL, just for some other kind of talk here, because cruise lines, I mean, this is another area here that's been a pretty bottoming factor here. Just at the, again, we look at these kind of things there every day, not CCL, but we try to talk about Carnival or some of the airlines or Boeing for sure recently. But this looks like a decent level as well. And if you sort of go back, you could see $16 right into here. Sure, can you get lower? Yeah, but like a lot of these names, this is a nice pullback under the 50-period moving average, and then coming right back in. You have the weekly up there?
Oh, the second you saw it, I was like, wait a minute, let's see what it looks like on the weekly, because now we got an idea brewing here. It's 11% short float. Let's pull up the weekly, because I love when this happens. It's like I wasn't even thinking about these on that move up in the Jets. So good look, Sean, because this is the 200-period moving average on the weekly for CCL. Look where it's bouncing the last few weeks. Like this month, you're bouncing off this 200 period. If this breaks out, like forget it, like if it breaks 20, that's a good breakout. If it breaks out the local 18 and then into the 20 level, and it's 11% short float, obviously the first thing it has to do is hold these lows, which is a bit of work that it would be putting in. But I like that look. Daily chart looking decent, the weekly. Travel is back, to be sure. Obviously, Boeing's a bit of a different story, but I like that look on CCL. If it breaks that 20 level, I know I'll be there. Maybe even the 18 might be good.
Apple took a hard right turn there during the afternoon, about 1 o'clock on that note from Europe. They're going to allow alternative app stores over in Europe to compete directly with their own, and I'm sure charge exorbitant fees to go along with that. But the stock right back to negative on the day in a hurry there on that.
Yeah, Brendo, they're trying to comply with the Digital Markets Act that the EU passed in 2022. So they're making changes to iOS, web browser, App Store, and many other things. Basically, they're trying to block new avenues for malware, fraud, and scams. Earlier today, though, it was reported that they had lost a little bit of market share in China, about a 2.1% decrease in their market share there for handsets, owing largely to Huawei's reemergence there, where they sold about 35 million units in 2023 and projecting 64 in 2024.
Hey, look at that. Oh, it was about the same there for a second. Negative 0.28 for both the NASDAQ and Apple at the same time there.
Oh, but no more.
64.50.
34.50.
34.50. Special price.
It's not even okay. Well,
Shout out to Russell Peters. Shout out to Russell Peters.
What up, Russell?
Shout out to Brampton.
Always a fellow Bramptonite. But Apple, that was nasty. So I'm gonna do. It's weird, man. It's one of those types of days. Like I had just gotten into Apple on the retracement play, threw a stop. I'm like, okay, let's get ready for the afternoon show. Like it was doing absolutely nothing in this. In my defense, it was doing nothing in this retracement. And there's like a routine that we go through before we come back on. Like I get up, like I refill my water, I put the makeup on, go to the bathroom, and come back. Like everything seemed like
the secrets about the makeup.
Whatever. But like it was doing nothing. I'm like, I'm gonna sit in this short. It's gonna break the consolidation down. I throw the stop, come back, and it runs the stop. And then look at this. This is me getting out of Apple for a 25-cent hit. This is Apple proceeding to drop $1, like right after. But it's obvious what happens here, like whether you're sitting there or not. This is like, it relieves the stress. Like anyone in the consolidation, run a few stops, get those people out, and then they're not on the bid as it goes back downside, and then there's more pressure for it to go. Apple is in the midst of a pullback off of, it's not really like the same high, because it never really got back into the December high, but close enough. Like it went 200 period, back into the top. Logic would dictate that maybe we're headed back to the 50 period at 190. So until you get there, maybe we break this 193 today. I think more likely this 193 support, which I just threw in there this afternoon. If I was looking at the 193 support line this morning, I probably would have gone long Apple off the open. But I just threw that in now because if we're reversing, this breaks, I think you head down to 190. More likely that's something you look for tomorrow. I don't know if it has the juice to get through it today, but I think that's a short I'll be looking for underneath 193 tomorrow anyways.
So we had some issues here with Tesla. I'm going to go talk about Apple in a minute because when I show you the chart of Apple, I'm going to, there's reasons why in the midday I was frustrated. I'll show you in a second. All right, so we already tested Tesla in and around 182 and it didn't go. So I just took out another piece. So we got one piece out at 25s and we just took another piece out here at 45. So that's part of the plan. It was all part of the plan. So we're going to do that. We're going to wait to see where it goes. Now, finally, another dollar right there, as this is going to be the number one. Well, Google's my number one trade, and wait till you see that. Okay, well, you've already seen it if you're following me at Trader TV, Sean. Thank God I didn't have thousands of shares. I only had hundreds up here on Apple, because I would have been like, that would have been upsetting. Short, short, good, short, good, short, good, short, 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 until not good, breaking 196. It goes up to 196.25s, honestly, and then bang to the downside. So the same thing basically that happened to us in AMD, except for AMD was more ridiculous because I had no reason to go short. At least here where we're going short against these highs until finally it broke. Can't control that. That store came out about the App Store. It is what it is. Just real quickly here, we're almost out of AMD. Why? Because of this, 179.50. We're going to take it out if we have to. That's AMD. Tesla's a Dollar Club winner. Look at Google. This is the biggest name. Google right now. Randy came here, man. Randy was like, yo, what's up with Tesla? And I was like, Tesla, great stock. Shorts have been printing. But Tesla was difficult. You had to hold that against you earlier, which we did, so it was fine. But this one, Google, ripped up, gave you this top so many times. So we just put on, we don't talk about share size. We put on shares here, went all the way to the downside. We got VWAP. Now we're holding a little bit left for an epic move down. But when this came in, man, we really took advantage of this. Got a lot of them out here at 50. That's 50 cents. Then that's $1. Down into here is $1 and a bit on the 200. Then VWAP gives us about $1.50. So this was my biggest trade of the day, just because frustrated. And Shreef's like, oh, I'm not going to say that, but I said I'll say it because I can explain it. Like, so many names, and you might have heard me, you probably didn't. Probably a good thing. Like, there were so many names today. Apple was one of them. We just talked about that. That just ripped. Just kept on going and ripping. And I was like, remember when I was like, yo, algos, turn those shit short. That's when the market was up 0.8. It's 0.36 downside right now. I thought the short was there. We were short all morning, and I was getting like rinsed on everything except for Tesla. You guys know that. So thank God this happened. Like, look at Amazon. You want to talk about another trade? Why I'd be upset? Like, see all these shorts? Thank God this one I didn't downtick there, but look at this move down. So again, I was feeling bearish about some of these Mag 7 names. I'm glad some of them have worked out. Next on the docket, PayPal. Let's get to the downside on that one right
that
now.
wasn't a long one.
As we shorted that right there. So we were going long, remember, we had PayPal nicely done early, and that was good until it wasn't. Came back in, we tried to defend 62, no. Then I'm like, honestly, why am I, oh, PayPal's up next, okay. We'll talk about PayPal. Let's go over to the guys, and then we'll get back over there. I get carried away.
The CEO actually came out this morning and said he was going to, quote unquote, shock the world at this event today for PayPal. He then went on to release this new AI feature, which I guess is a way for them to earn cash back through the PayPal app. I mean, the price action alone speaks for itself, but I mean, they revamped Venmo, launching AI-based products. But the CEO comments were kind of interesting there this morning ahead of this event this afternoon.
Yeah, this PayPal First Look event happened live during the midday, and we saw in real time the reaction to PayPal's move. Basically, what they're looking at here is announcing 6 new innovations, or they call them new. They're imagining a new, basically a reimagined checkout and guest services experience, a new advanced offers platform for merchants, and a new customer app to earn cash back. And as you said, Brendo, announcing Venmo's enhanced business profile so that business can find and engage new customers and grow their business.
It shocked the stock, that's for sure, but I'm not sure that's what he was thinking about.
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to
Need coffee. Where's Randy?
just go against everyone's expectations. So, okay, well, everyone expects the CEO to shock the world. When you say that, you're gonna make the stock move up. I guess you wanted the other thing here, Sean. I traded Square. I'll let you talk about PayPal because I want to talk about Square because that's what I was trading, and that's
okay.
that should take second fiddle. But damn, did they sell the news on PayPal?
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, honestly here. I'll just call it up. And I talk about this all the time. Neil and I are extremely lucky, honestly, to be able to sit here with this platform and be able to trade all day because it is so easy for us to be able to flip back and forth between longs and shorts and have that bias. And because it's our job, we can literally, as my kids say, sit here. I do say it a lot. Sit here and be able to pretty much go short because we have unlimited borrows on most of these names. And we're lucky enough to be able to sit here and honestly see a live level 2 and be able to hear that news. And I mean, it was during Sharif and Adara's show. I remember I was like, what? Because we were in PayPal. And I was like, this is tanking. And then I was like, okay, we got to buy some 62s. So I was like, nope. And then it just kept going to the downside. And then eventually we flipped over to the short. So what I was getting at with that little bit of a rant, well, not a rant, but just what I was talking about, is we had written down long because, you know, there's a word called AI. And Microsoft invested $10 billion in ChatGPT and OpenAI, and their stock appreciated $1.7 trillion. So I was thinking that, hey, maybe PayPal could possibly, appears like it's not doing that, announce something with, honestly, I didn't say this earlier, but I thought they could have maybe announced a partnership with an OpenAI or with a Microsoft or with somebody just to get it all figured out and maybe be integrated into something. Well, I guess that didn't happen, and now we're all the way to the downside. So that's why I was on here for that. We're able to flip it around, and now we're short, and I'm waiting for a 60 break. So, you know, long story short, maybe this is a real deal thing, but it's like just have the ability to be flexible enough to not have a bias that continues one way when something does change.
Was it like that the whole way?
It was like that.
Did you do that?
No.
What happened?
Oh, okay.
Did I do that?
It was bullish. They were bulls. I don't think we changed them.
No. What I'm getting at is the two bulls were in an inappropriate position. There.
I didn't.
And I know somebody came by and did that. That's not how it was before. Somebody did that.
Was it
before we came
Randy
back
that
on.
did it?
I didn't do. I'm not saying you did. I had no idea. But anyways,
Randy's denying.
we'll flip into the Bears.
Well, thank you, Randy. Randy, Tesla 180, man. Wow.
I was like, you were talking about. Oh yeah, I was going to mention Square, but first off, Randy, you gave some interesting outlooks on Volkswagen.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put you on spot. I'm not saying you got to go on and talk about this, but can we, at some point, maybe in the next week or so, can we get you on to talk about some other EV names? Because
Send me your calendar.
no, Randy came by and like what Sean and I were listening to Randy talk about EVs. He was talking about Porsche. He was talking about Volkswagen. There's some interesting thoughts. So at some point we're gonna get you back on for that. All right, perfect. Because we don't really trade that stock. And now, okay, now he does this. Whatever. It's gonna be a thing. So I know he's the one that did it before.
And they're just facing each other, you know.
And really, it's not like you guys.
Bears can kiss.
You could literally rewind and see the position they were in before if you really cared. If you're into that. Block. So this is one of these days.
I mean, bears can kiss.
What's wrong with that? The
Make
bear
a
and the bull?
kiss? Yeah, okay.
If you want.
Whatever Ramin wants, honestly.
Ramin
because,
wants the bear and the bull.
Can't do that after show without Ramin.
Why, two bears? It's not okay if the two bears do it? Okay.
We're very like a romantic. What's up, Fabian?
Don't mac on, well, anyways.
Those are guys right there, and girls. And Adara's over here, too. Everyone's still here.
Everyone's chilling. Well, we'll let you get them kissing again, which is much more family.
Oh, they were
friendly.
kissing before?
Just now. No.
Oh, before it was worse. Okay.
No, before it was something else.
Roger that.
All right? You guys know anyone can rewind and you can see
they're
it.
not. See, they're not kissing yet. They're like thinking about it.
What if our kids were watching?
My kids? My kids are all about romance and stuff.
I don't want the, anyway, my daughter's, I don't want to be thinking that.
You kiss your wife in front of your daughter?
Okay, fine.
I mean,
I
come
don't
on,
want
bro.
my daughter to grow up like that, man. I'm just saying. She's 7,
Like what, a furry?
going on
I
15.
mean, no one-
That's all I'm saying. You guys know what it was. We'll keep it real. It was not. It was.
Oh, the first time. Oh, yeah.
It was not too. Okay. Anyway.
I thought you were talking about this.
No,
this,
I don't
this
care
to
about
me
that.
Is very
I don't care about
PG.
that.
This
It
is
was-
like a UFC moment. Here, you know where they stare each other down?
Those are the. Those,
And then this guy's like, yo, don't talk about me.
you know what bugs me about those? It's like it gets to the point where do I ever like it's gotten to a point where like I never really believe it's like authentic. Every once in a while you'll get one of those where you're like these two don't like each other, but some of it's
There's
just
too much
so,
money now in it.
like
I
it's
feel
so
like.
fake.
Then they chill out afterwards.
Exactly.
You know
So-
what? Like, I'm not to talk
can't.
about religion here, but I'm obviously going to do it. That's why, like, you preface it with that. It's like, and
As I
this
talk
has
about religion.
always happened. No, but I was going to bring it to sports too another way. Like, sometimes you see basketball players or football players after the game, they'll do like a little, they'll
Yeah.
sit down and pray. I'm just saying, maybe that's UFC as well. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but sometimes.
No, like those guys.
Can't we all just all be friends?
They're going in to battle each other. Of course they respect each other.
So
I can understand that.
Meanwhile, Tesla, are we done? Do we have to go back to Brenda? We still have the PayPal on there. I think we're probably okay. Tesla.
PayPal's the last one. So.
Okay, so PayPal. I'm waiting for PayPal to break 60. We're 75 cents in the money. Let's let it go.
see.
And if we don't have very many shares, that's another thing. When it's on news like that, it's very, very hard. You feel like the podcast, yeah, that's what we do on the pod. You have to watch the podcast, Dan, and that'll be great. And we have a lot of fun on it. We're gonna have guests. We're gonna have all this kind of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun on the podcast. But the thing about it is that Tesla right now, you got to watch out for this 200 period. I do have an offer. I did have an offer. I guess it got canceled when I got filled. Okay, I got to put it back. I was going to look at this level. It's lining up with the 200 period moving average. Wow, we're really going, man. It's 182. You know what? Forget it. I always get out too early, and hence this. So I'm just going to wait. We were short Tesla early. Tesla right now is now my #1 stock, so that's good. Tesla was short early. We were mad about that. Now we're fine. So like now we're higher. Like we're now higher on Tesla than we would have been, not if we had held this all the way down to there, but this is a nice little recovery back. We're now $1.70 in the money the other way. And then we're waiting for AMD. AMD is taking the 50 period right now, but we're very, very close to this bottom. So this is where we want to get out in case it hits that bottom. In case it, takes out that bottom again. And what support now becomes possibly resistance. So we'll wait to see if it does take that out, and then we'll just go from there. So those are sort of what I'm working with right now.
Who said Tesla's going back under 100? Scott H. So I'm genuinely curious about this from the chat. Guys on CNBC earlier were saying Tesla was going back under 100. I know you said CNBC. I'm just genuinely curious because I can probably find out if I were to rewatch it, but if you can tell me it's great. Who made that call? Like, who on CNBC? Like, Josh Brown didn't say that. I'd want to know. Underneath $100 seems a little bit extreme. I want to just go to this RVSN, Steve Weiss on the halftime report. Okay. Cool. I appreciate it. I just didn't want to have to go back and be hunting for it myself. If I know who it is, I can go back and just sort of watch that segment and not have to watch everything because I'm lazy like that. RVSN. Small float, runner, yada, yada, all that good stuff. Just reclaimed VWAP. I think it's worth watching because the volume's starting to pick up. The longer it holds, maybe there's something off this $8 level. I don't love the spread on the stock, so I can't promise that it's something that I would be in. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one. As with the market kind of weak, it's bouncing now. Sometimes these runners can be good. I'm back into Neo and not Rivian, and I feel like I should be back into Rivian as well. Just going to give this a wider berth. I want to be adding to this if I can. So on the way to a break of the high, I just think Neo can go like maybe the 10s, 15s, 20s, kind of what it did off the $6 level yesterday, like on the double bottom, and looking for the same thing, breaking back above it. So back into Neo. Here, if Rivian takes 15.10, that's a quadruple top. I'd probably jump back into that one as well. Let's see what else we have going on in here. I mean, we already talked about Apple. Oh, I wanted to mention this with Square, just in case it gets back to 62. So if you're watching the morning show, you know that I had the long off 62 twice, and there's your double bottom on Square on the daily. Looked good. I had it first time through, it ran stops. I then got back in, it then ran stops again, and then went higher. It's bounced a couple of times already. On the PayPal event, it actually got down to that 62 and broke it. But for the greater part, it's really held this level nicely. So if we get back in there a third time, I think I should take a shot at it, give it like 20 cents or 25 cents instead of 10 and 15, and give it a chance. So the market has to get back down for it to get to that level. The fact that it was able to hold when PayPal made the flush, in sympathy, this bounced off the same level it bounced off in the morning. That makes 62 all the more significant, at least as far as I'm concerned. So looking for the break of 15.10 on Rivian. Still would love to short Marvell on any pops. Whether or not this stock is remotely able to pop remains to be seen.
I know Brendan's busy. Maybe Derek can send it to me. Can we just get what that story was again with Microsoft? Because GameStop is might break this top. So I just kind of want to hear it again.
Yeah,
I was a little bit too distracted with what was going on there. But what was that? Well, Fabian, Activision layoffs? Okay. That's probably not GameStop, but we'll wait.
What was the GameStop story?
There was something about Steam. So my kids, for example, I'll tell you right now, my son, right, it's almost his birthday, and he told my mother what he wants for birthday because she asked. My father doesn't do any of the buying for that. And you know what he said? Here, Fabian will know what this means. You will not. Brendan will not either. He wanted a Steam gift card.
Okay, well, I don't know exactly, but I have heard this. I know it's some kind of a gaming thing.
Yeah. So Steam is the online.
That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like an online portal that basically has all the games there. So you could get he's not allowed to get it, but you could get Grand Theft Auto and basically all of the games on Steam. Pretty much all of them. So he wanted that so he could download it, and then he has all the Steam games because he kind of shares account with Baxter, so the older kid. So they have a lot of games all on there.
Baxter has to have all the games he needs though.
Baxter's a maniac.
He's got GTA for sure.
Well, no, actually.
Oh, word?
Well, maybe he does, but he doesn't. Baron can't see those kind of games. So, anyways, as we go on.
So you think?
Yeah, you know what? He's almost 12. Honestly, when you're almost 12 years old, it's kind of
Man, in my head, Baron's not already that old. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
so
honestly,
wild.
it's like YouTube.
Obviously, he's
You can Fabian just said in my head, anybody can just go on YouTube and see all these previews and all. The popular thing about YouTube is Tradertv.live. And then the next thing is the walkthroughs, gaming walkthroughs and stuff like that. You can literally, if he can't pass a level,
my daughter does.
He'll go there and find out how to do that. And then he has chess tonight, by the way. That kid dominates people in chess, by the way.
So GameStop, maybe we I don't know. It looks like a good break. It looks like a good break on the chart. Is she sending it to us?
She did already.
Where?
Oh, she sent it to me.
Only. Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you read it. But anyways, the break looks pretty solid on this double top. It's 14.55 with room to 15 here. But the volume is starting to taper off a little bit. I don't mind it. It's just you want the volume to be there. I was going to take this short if it broke down. I was going to take the AMC short if it broke down. That was frustrating. I sat there all morning. Talk about an unwillingness to go long a stock. Just watch it bounce off the same low over and over again, and you won't take it long because you want to take the short on the bottom break. So that's what happened on AMC. If you just went long off $4, you could have scalped it all day long. Tesla to 184, J&J breaking out.
I hope Tesla goes to 184. Oh, God.
Apple made another fresh low, by the way.
God damn you, Apple. That's
Apple
going to haunt me for a minute.
Still going down. I can't believe I got out of that.
Yeah, no, the story is the same thing. Microsoft, so I don't know why this would be GameStop related, but oh, here it is. There it is. Okay, yeah, it was this. Microsoft cutting their entire physical game department at Xbox. So Xbox is set to move entirely away from physical media in the future. So that should be bad for GameStop, I would think, but...
So why don't we, huh?
No, it's just Microsoft.
Why did
They're
GameStop
laying off all the guys at Activision that are
is
part of
GameStop
the physical. That's exactly. So that's why. That's why I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But okay, GameStop's up. But thing is, there's not really a volume spike. Honestly, that story must have come out around 12:15, and the right action happened. GameStop got hit down. I'm gonna guess that story was probably midday. Hit down to the downside there, and then it's just kind of drifting back up. I mean, GameStop is not necessarily a dead stock. You know, it is what it is. I'm not going to say it is what it is. Someone said on the bingo card yesterday that the free space should be it is what it is.
I agree.
Because you know, free spaces are what they are, and we say that a lot. So,
I'm glad Dan McIsaac you took. So you know what? I'm glad you said this, Dan. Dan, he says I took the long on AMC off that $4 still holding.
AMC,
Good luck.
yeah.
There's a reason why. Like you'll see us in the morning show. We'll go over the stocks we plan on trading. We'll go over the stocks in play. And just because it's a key level and I'm looking for it to break the bottom doesn't mean the long off the bottom isn't any good. Like it's a big level, that $4 level. It was a double bottom. You take it at will. I remember the day that I was all over this silly pin. It's not silly because of what, it's silly because I didn't get it and it went up. The 136 on Pinduoduo the other day. And all morning I'm like, look at the gigantic level. Let's go to the 15-minute if it actually wants to bother loading. There we go. I'm like, the 136 level is huge on Pinduoduo. This is what it did that day. It opened at about 137 change, went down to 136.00, and then bounced like $6 for the rest of the day. Now, I absolutely love that flat bottom break that time. Like, look at it on the daily chart. How can you not want to be involved in this thing at that price? But my bias was, at the time, because of what the other Chinese ADRs were doing, my bias was looking for the short breakdown. It held the level, and it was gold ever since. Important levels are just there for you to make a decision at, right? The first step is identify them. The second step is make a decision what you want to do with it. Didn't break, so I wasn't short, but if you took that long, great. I'm now not taking this GameStop. Hopefully that's obvious with the reaction to that news. But I did think had it been more positive news, because the short flow is still 22%, upward trending. I probably would have had a look, and I don't know why I have this line in here. Let's just get rid of it. Line, edit, remove. So yeah, it would have been a good breakout if I thought that was positive news. But if that's not good news, so I don't see why I'd be taking the longs at the highs.
So I feel a little silly getting out of, well, I mean, whatever. We got out of half of what we had on Tesla at that 181.40 area. One was 25, one was 45. So let's say 181.30. So yeah, that kind of sucks because now you're busting a little bit higher. Someone in the chat, and I apologize, I missed your name. It was a while ago, and we were just talking about something else because I was like, I don't think short interest really matters too much about Tesla, but then we had that Stephen Weiss talk about it as possibly going down lower. It's only a 3% short float right now. So, but I mean,
for its market cap, I'm willing to make a bet here. Let's make, well, no one's going to take the other side of this. There's no chance anything within $500 million of it market cap wise has
half a
$500 million. No, sorry, I should say like more like
its market cap is only half is 500.
Yeah, I should say like let's say 25% of it. So within 25% market cap of Tesla that has a short float over 2.5%.
Yeah,
because that's 3. I doubt it. That has to be the biggest short float of.
Well, yeah, definitely of any Mag 7,
of any Mag 7,
of any like NASDAQ.
Well, why do you think SMCI moves so much? Because SMCI has a 9% short float and it's a decent sized company. But that's
PayPal now $1 in the money.
It ain't nothing.
Okay, so what I was going to get at there, obviously I agree, and this is why I feel like it's a higher short flow, but it's actually much higher than this, is because what percentage does Elon own himself? Where that's never going to be, you know, that's a long, like those are long shares,
of the available,
right? And then
available.
You're right, and then you think about all the shares that are owned in ETFs, that are owned in ARK, that are owned. Like, I'm just using that as an example for the ETF, but all the technology ETFs, all the autonomous ETFs, everything like that, those guys are all net long, and you gotta have shares in those ETFs, right? You can't just pretend like you're long. Or can you? But so that's something to look at. So I think it's actually a lot higher than that, like considering how much the street would have short. There's so much of them sort of gobbled up, you know, and I just feel like there's probably a much bigger short float than we even think.
Oh,
in that name.
I got to answer a question in the chat. Tamor asked, where are the glasses, Neil?
Yeah, man.
They're right here on the desk, but if you want to see me actually wear them, then you got to catch the real deal at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's like, that's when I wear them. I wear them not on the show. These are my blue light glasses. I think they look weird, but you guys seem to like
them. The real deal glasses.
We'll keep it on. For some reason, we just see things clear in the middle of the day with those glasses on. But I keep them right here at the desk. I got mine. Sean's got his. I got a pair at home. They're good to go. We are still looking for, oh, shoot, it's already 2:45.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I need to find some longs, man. It's 2:45. It's 2:45 on a Thursday.
Oh, we got Disney. I forgot to talk about.
You know what's up. I think we're ready to head to the desk because he's always on time. I don't even have to ask. Frank Kaberna, let's get into it. Got to find something else to go long.
Yeah.
There he is, Frank Kaberna, Director of Strategy over at IG in Chicago, back with us. A lot to discuss, Frank, this afternoon. I want to get right to it because a lot of strength coming back into the dollar here late in the day after an otherwise pretty weak start once again this morning that has completely gone away. And I'll throw a couple of comments at you here to kick things off from the ECB, pointing to them being open now to a March pivot and possible June cuts if the data essentially continues to show that that's the direction that they should head. Long story short, we got no cut. They held on interest rates this morning at 4.5%. But actually coming out and making a point to say they're open to pivot in March now with June cuts, or they're looking at June now, 4 cuts coming out of the ECB today. Interesting.
Yeah, no action. It's actually been a pretty dull. I mean, we knew it was going to be a dull week central bank wise in terms of action. But I was looking for more rhetoric, and it seems to be a little bit of a standoff as to who's going to even cop to a cutting schedule first. No change, but yeah, it's too premature to even discuss rate cuts, but I appreciate the added color you have there because the euro market is tanking a little bit here late in the day, down about 60 pips, and now closing in on 108, and it was a 111 to start the year. But two, this market is looking a lot like interest rate futures recently, which is to say, not buying what the central banks necessarily have to say, and even with the upside we've seen in interest rate markets the first couple of weeks here of 2024, Brennan, I think you would agree that there's still a separation between markets and central bankers on that side, given that there's still 4 to 6 rate cuts priced in for this year. The Fed has said we're looking at 2 to 3. No one has said yet that they're going to cut at this meeting or in this time frame. They're all saying we might start looking at it, but we're holding rates for as high as they need to be for as long as they need to be. But these markets continue to kind of go against some of this rhetoric here as the dollar buying is emerging once again. And we talked about this a little bit with the yen piece earlier in the week, which is that there's a difference between talk and action, and these non-US central banks, especially those in Europe and Australia and Asia, can talk about how they want to be more hawkish, but until they are relatively stronger than the US in their interest rates and economic data, it seems like the market is fully content to just continue to buy the US dollar. I mean, what do you think about this? Every time it seems like the euro or the pound or the yen is going to break out to the upside, it hits the ceiling once again, the same ceiling the last couple of years here, and the dollar buying emerges.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be way off base with this, but as you showed that quote from Christine Lagarde this morning, who essentially came out and said, we're not there yet, we got a lot of work to do, everybody slow down. And then later in the day we get more on the dovish side of things saying maybe they could look at March and then June for cuts. That would be downside for Europe for the strength in the overall currency, which would help the dollar, which makes a lot of sense. But as you said, equities and other markets around the world kind of just shrugging their shoulders and saying, as we were.
Yeah, it's a really interesting nuance here. It seems like stocks and most of the other asset classes are kind of off doing their own things at this point, and are essentially looking at this whole conversation under the guise of like, we'll start moving based off of what you're saying when you start doing what you're saying. Because yeah, the market's still 50-50. This is March here for the U.S. And the U.S. has been actually one of the more transparent central banks globally about the rate cutting process. It seems like the Euro area and Japan, for example, places that have been relatively weaker than the U.S. over the last couple of years, have tried to talk stronger than they're maybe committed to do. All this, as we said, time will tell. They'll either cut or they won't. And a 50-50 setup for the next meeting after next week's is really as close as it gets, and lets you know that we're going to get, one way or another, we're going to get a lot of information over the course of probably the next week, with the FOMC actually meeting next Wednesday. But also we've got inflation tomorrow morning. We've got CPI before that March meeting. We've got another non-farm. We actually have, I think we'll have two non-farms. And each of those points is going to greatly shift that market to one side or the other. Again, it's been a very rare occurrence over the course of the last half a decade, really, maybe full decade, that we've gone into a central bank meeting here in the US and it's been 50-50. That 50-50 gets to one side or the other, usually a couple of weeks prior to the event itself. And so, yeah, central banks globally talking out of both sides of their mouth. It'll be really, really interesting to see if the US is the first to commit to a rate cut. But you're exactly right. Committing to a rate cut, Brennan, would theoretically weaken your currency, but the US continues to see strength. And I think it's because traders are thinking, if the US does cut first, these global economies that are underperforming the US are likely going to have to cut maybe more or faster or what have you.
And from a comment side, it was interesting in the sense, and notable in the sense, I think, going into the meeting next week, that it was in fact the ECB coming out, first and saying, maybe June, let's see. Then that on the back of what Fed Chair Powell said last time. But as you were just alluding to, and explain maybe what we're looking at with this next chart, in the sense that, was the US that led the way on the way up. Does that have any relevance, on the way back down here for rates?
Yeah, and I'll draw on the stock indices for an analogy here, because what you're seeing here in front of you is the global interest rate environment, and you see there at the bottom the highest of the major global economies here is the United States, with 5.5% interest rates. In the Euro area, who we've been talking about, 4.5%. And Canada and UK have been really strong over the course of the last handful of years from an interest rate perspective and from a Forex perspective relative to your, Japan and Australian dollar. But anyways, all of that aside, the idea here, what people thought at the end of last year was, okay, now rate cutting is in the water. They're talking about it globally, but they're not signing up to timelines and how much they're going to cut and everything else. And that actuality is what will really push Forex markets. But they started to move at the end of last year, Brendan, on the fact that the US was the first to really start talking about rate cuts in general. And so everyone thought, okay, well, they're going to be the weakest on the way down. But anybody who's traded stock indices the last handful of years knows that the strongest on the way up doesn't have to be the weakest on the way down. I think amid the pandemic and all the wacky trading we got from March 2020 to the next year, where some indices started printing new all-time highs much faster than others, the idea definitely wasn't that the NASDAQ has to be weaker than the Russell on the way down if it's going to be stronger on the way up. We might be set up here for in the markets the first couple of weeks of 2024 now that have flipped on the sentiment of the end of last year, is saying that the US might be the strongest on the way down as well, especially when you look at GDP numbers and inflation numbers. So much of the economic employment as well, so much of the economic data pointing in the stronger direction for the US and Canada, and a little bit iffier for the Euro area, Australia, China, and Japan, obviously, as well. And so there's no rule to this that the US hiked the furthest and fastest, and so they have to cut the furthest and fastest as well. And the dollar buying that's emerged the last handful of weeks, up hundreds of pips against pretty much every major currency, is showing you exactly that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look forward here. I want to spend some time on this PCE number tomorrow because it's the last and probably the most key data point that we'll get, going into next week and going into these comments that we'll get from Fed Chair Powell. So, all eyes on the core side of things for PCE tomorrow morning. The headline number already has a 2 handle on it. We'll most likely maintain that 2 handle tomorrow. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but if we finally see that 2 print come on the core number as well, maybe even more upside for the market.
Yeah, and could be a total flip for that dollar piece. Would essentially go fly in the face of everything I just said, which absolutely could happen. And yeah, this number is it sets up actually really in a real digestible way for everybody out there. The expectation is 3%. And as you can see over the course of the last 2-3 years, we haven't been sub 3% with this inflation measure in the last couple of years. And for those who don't know, and you might be saying, well, prior to this run up in inflation, it was really hanging around 1 to 2%. Is that for a reason? That's exactly where the central bank wants it. And that's where they especially want it if they're going to cut rates from 5.5% down to 4.5%, or where some people are projecting by the end of this year down to 3.5%. They're going to really want this value to be 2% or lower. To your point, the headline number already printing in the mid 2s. The only way that really makes markets move would be if it printed 2 even or below 2. That would be like, holy smokes, they could start cutting tomorrow. And that would obviously, given historical trends, be potentially bullish for that stock market. Now, if these numbers, if they don't get 3% in the core number, or that headline number does get closer to 3% or beyond, then you might see rate markets bounce right back, dollar bounce right back, and stocks. I mean, it'd be really interesting to see what happens for stocks because, Brendan, I don't know if you have a stronger conviction on this. It seems like stocks, especially in the midst now of earnings season, stocks on any given day, rates are up, down, or sideways, and they've been kind of doing their own thing, not as much correlation. So maybe a good day trade no matter what for the stock market, but likely to see some big swings in interest rates and Forex for sure off tomorrow's number.
Yeah, and we were talking about that going back to last week as well, in the sense that, the market has said, it's not even an issue anymore. This is beyond us. It's a matter of time. They have some more work to do, yes, probably, but everything will get to where they want it to be. Whether it's a 3 print or whether it's a 2 print, I mean, you and I were talking in the sense that, are we actually sitting here, nitpicking over 0.1% either way at this point, when it's come from, 5.5 all the way back down to 3. And yes, we're not there yet, but very, very close. So we'll see. 8:30 tomorrow morning, we'll get this latest PCE print ahead of the FOMC meeting coming up next week. Great stuff. Frank Kaberna is Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. A pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
You've done it again, Frank. I don't even know, he drops knowledge, even when the market, look at the turnaround in the market today. Come on, how many days have been that bearish? The market was struggling, and then we're back into the upside. I jumped back into my 2 longs, and we'll let Sean talk about Tesla because I wanted to get to the super chat, and then we'll address that for sure, Nicole.
Yeah, I mean, we just got out here, right here near 183. I mean, I was gonna wait for higher, but I mean, the market, we gotta reward ourselves. Like we don't, there's been so many times where we've sat here and watched this stock and then that out. But anyways, there's the bottom. So, you know, you make money short, you make money long. Tesla's a killer today. And it's going to continue to be that. So hopefully it continues to go up. We have only 25% left of the position. Out 50%. There it is. There's the out for Google, right? You got to get out at some point. There's view up. This is 153 to 151. That's another $1.50 right there. So that one is also in your pocket as well. And then, like, let's just go like this one. We'll cook it up again. Look at this AMD trade. So, like, this was me covering right there. So that's, for me, what it's all about. Get the out of Dodge, and then boom to the upside. You know, I like just controlling the stock. Like I'm definitely out of control when I'm doing stuff like this. And I already know that. You know, so if I can fix that problem, then I feel like we will still have 99 problems, but trading won't be one. So hopefully that will stay there. Look, we're doing well, man. It's fine. It's just that AMD trade was bad, and then we had Apple at the top part as well. But anyways, just to talk about Tesla, we're $3, $2.50 in the money off that 180 bottom. So we're long right now, 180.37. Congratulations, Nabil. Congratulations, everybody else that's in the chat there. But that's an easy trade again. It's like the same thing over and over again. If it's easy, you make it. That's an easy one on Tesla. This is an easy one on Google. And it's just, those are my two best trades. And it's like the more and more I sit here and wonder what I'm doing, the more clear it becomes. So, you know, we're ready to rock and roll. That's a good trade on Google. That's a good trade on Tesla. Now, guys, gotta do this.
Let the bottom form, let the top form.
That's it. It's just like, but not only that, it's like also follow.
As AMC is a piece of trash, we keep.
Yeah. Well, I just said that because Tesla's going up. Like we knew we wanted Tesla short, so the $10 short is not something we didn't expect. But this bottom is what Neil was talking about. You got to wait for those bottoms. Now there it is, $1, $2, $3 in the money. We did it again.
I love it. We need a new graphic for.
We have the props one.
Well, no, I mean, like, for when something's rocket shipping to the upside, I think we need something that's not an AMC one, because it's almost like you're throwing salt. It's almost like throwing salt in the wound, because AMC just keeps on going down. But we can come up with something better for like our own thing, like our own rocket ship, a Trader TV Live rocket ship or something.
Yeah, we could do that, right, Fabian? You get like a rocket ship with a Trader TV Live thing on it.
Just something. It's just I look at the AMC and it's like that just keeps going down and down.
Fabian barely has anything to do around.
No, he's not busy at all. Fabian and Refrain, they're never. I mean,
during your breaks, guys, you know.
They're always just sitting there eating chips and chatting and on TikTok. No, we're joking about that.
Popcorn. Ramin loves the popcorn. The movie popcorn.
No, she's got the bag of chips.
Ah, there we go. Oh, she's got the chips over there?
Don't think we didn't see those. And they're ketchup chips too.
Are they open?
No, they're not open. Oh. Are they open? Sean, if those were open, 100% chance I would tax some of those for sure. Tax. Sorry, I wanted to get to the super chat. Nicole Harris, what up? Hi, Nicole. Can we look at HUD 8? Yes, we can. Hi, Frank. I'm up. Okay. Well, I mean, everything's up when Frank talks. But this is a setup which we've observed work a few times. It worked on Block last year, or maybe it was 2 years. I think it was last year. You get a short seller report. Stock goes down. Stock makes a bottom after. The stock makes a bottom after that report. Here's the low right in front of $6. If it then holds that same low, look for the long, because exit liquidity on short seller report. There's your consolidation long. Now you're in the midst of a breakout. Don't know where it's going to go. Do know it's on its way. Since the split, I suppose this would be the big level next, like 830 or 825, whatever the heck that works out to. So I think you got yourself a good one. I wish I'd paid closer attention to this. I like that setup. The reason I like it is because it works well for day trading. Like, you can probably swing off that too, but once it makes that bottom, you start looking for longs off the same low. And right here, it double bottoms at the higher low. You then take like some kind of a break. You can be trying that every day. Like, you can try it there, it goes a little bit, then fails. You can try it there, it goes a little bit, then fails. You try it the third time, it goes all the way. So really, you could be in and out, like probably a flat trade, because you win some, you lose some, you win some, you lose some, couple of flat trades, and then it breaks out. I don't mind that, because you're working off the same level, and you know the day that it goes, it's going to be a good one. I said I would jump back into Rivian because A, 15, and B, Frank, I don't know. So I jumped back into Rivian when it held to 15 again, higher low, better entry. See, this is a more patient entry off 15 than this was. This was chasing it. and that's getting it on the way back down. So of course it doesn't work that way. This is getting it on the higher low consolidation. It still has to break 1510. Once it breaks 1510, I think you can retrace back into these, I don't know, what do we call it? I don't even know what to call that, like the opening wick?
Yeah.
Like it's not a range high because it didn't spend any time there. So we'll call it the opening wick highs, which I don't know how much I put into those. Like to me, when something like this happens on Rivian, like the level was still 1510. Like that was just utter, hey, let's go up, and then nonsense. Like, and that's just a trap for anybody. And then 1510 was a level. So I'll call that like a gap fill into around the previous close. So Rivian headed back up. I'm in Neo. That's only a couple cents in the money. No worries there. Even Apple's starting to bounce. Frank turned Apple today, and Apple was absolutely.
Danielle.
Look, of course it bounced off 193. Draw a line and chart, sometimes trade off line and chart.
All right. Oh, I have a, do we have the earnings board? Okay, let's pull it up quickly because I want to do a new, Neil, get ready for a poll because I can't put them up. I can barely vote on them.
What do you mean you can't put them up?
I've tried to put them up before. Remember we had this back and
that's
forth
right.
like 5 years,
Which
4
doesn't
years
make
ago.
any sense, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been restricted. I've been banned. I was going to put up, I think that we should put up like which, maybe we'll give 4 options.
Wait till I got it ready, then type.
Yeah, no. I was just thinking which stock will, I don't know how to word it, like have the best performance following earnings. So there's Visa, there's TMUS, best percentage mover, best earnings mover, or greatest earnings mover. But greatest?
I've already put best, so too late.
Most volatile? I don't know. Anyways, because there it is. Okay, here you go. You do that. So we have Intel. So the options are going to be Intel, Visa. We can't do American Express. Well, American Express is going to be before the open. So let's do something tonight. T-Mobile. And then was that Western Digital? Okay, WDC. Boom. But I thought I didn't see WDC on the list today.
Are you sure? Are we sure about WDC?
I'm not sure. No, I don't see it. Oh yeah, there it is. WDC.
All right.
Aftermarket close.
Anything else?
25th. Perfect.
We don't care
That's
about the
only
other one.
19 billion market.
Western Alliance.
Is there anything else? Capital.
No, that's fine.
We could go with Capital One. We could go with a bank.
Oh, I can only put 4 things?
That's fine. Yeah, I said 4. That's
Okay.
all you can do is 4. All right. So there. So let's do that. I mean, Visa, guys, come over to my screen over here right now. I mean, I just put something out, a tweet about Visa, but Visa is like really working. I mean, this name just continues to really march higher. I could probably call up a monthly chart, but I don't want to crash my computer. But
I should have said percent mover to the upside. You guys, okay, whatever.
That's a good one.
I just said percent mover.
This guy needs to be on. This guy needs to be on the air, Fabian. He goes, don't give Visa too much credit. Yeah, that was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, if we ever don't need, if we ever get anybody else over there, maybe this guy comes.
Yo, Fabian.
Him and Adaro would probably shut the stream down.
Don't listen to my ear. I'll say it and I'll pretend it's me.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
Look at this. Regardless of giving them credit or not, like Visa is like performing at very high levels right now. This is like the Edmonton Oilers. Who's that? Please talk in basketball or football terms.
Oilers.
But 272, they've won like 13 in a row or something.
Well, they have.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, who knows, right? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Come on, man. All right, but anyways, okay, they're performing like the OKC Thunder. There, is that better? All right, boom, there we go. I'll show my versatility. But there it is right there, breaking out through 250. It's a huge move. I think Visa wins tonight. We saw IBM. I mean, here's IBM before earnings today, right near these highs. I mean,
it's close.
Yeah, IBM's getting close to those highs right there. It took out that high. We're looking for this to work. So let's just continue with it. I think it does work. I think IBM, Visa, all that can go. Intel's not going to look as good on the monthly chart. You still got a ways to go for that one. The other one was Visa, Intel, TMUS. T-Mobile's on quite...
Much better chart than you would...
Yeah, I was going to say...
Do not sleep on T-Mobile. Nobody voted for T-Mobile in this...
What?
It's
hold on a
9%.
second.
This is the poll right now. 43% Intel, 40% Visa. Everybody went
was
with the
very
names.
dramatic.
They went chalk. T-Mobile only 10%, WDC 7%. Look at that. Look at the chart of WDC.
I'm choosing WC. I'm choosing
Look
WDC.
at the chart of. I chose WDC.
Yeah, I did it.
Because look at the move this thing is on right now, and no one's gonna go for it.
Right.
So the way I always look
Here,
at it
come
is
over
like
to this
you
chart.
should get odds if you pick the one that nobody wants. As far
So
as
here it is right here. There's a lot. The reason why I'm choosing this is because someone already chose Pikachu, so I can't choose him.
Let's go.
Wait, is Pikachu male or female? I don't know. Fabian. Boy. Okay, good. All right, they. There's the move up here. I wonder about this like 70, 72 area here, something like that, which would be a huge move. This just needs to get back here, and it's 10%. So WDC, I choose you. Oh, what is going on with that Seagon? Because as far as I know, it's gone. And you can see this.
$40.
Yeah.
The IPO we don't trade.
Is this Chinese?
The IPO we do not trade. Look at this
What do you
thing.
mean,
It's
the
a rocket
IPO?
ship.
I don't think we traded an IPO in a long time.
Like I'm telling you, man. Like if
Wasn't Wayne
only,
on this?
If only Wayne on the
Where is Wayne?
on the bridge. It's like Wayne. How could you not have told me about this IPO?
Wayne, come on, Wayne.
Is he messaged me? Stock opens up at 1 o'clock. He messaged me at 11 and he goes, CGON IPO, and he didn't say anything else. And
Yeah,
if I had
go
just,
long. He meant to say go long.
If I had just looked over it, the stupid thing
on,
had gone
Neil.
long. But I don't know too much about them. I don't really know too
Let's
much about
find
this
out about
IPO. But we'll try to find something on it. It's a
CGON.
double up. It's a double up from the issue price.
Oh, it is
but it's up
an
12,
American
100%. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
it's
a double up from there,
oncology.
but up $12 right now from the low.
Yeah, it's
Oncology.
Yeah, there's no information on it. There's no short flow. I don't have shares outstanding. It's opening up right here. It has a 2 point.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing that you could just IPO and immediately get a $2.5 billion valuation. So that's it right there. Good job. Looks like they have a little bit of cash on hand and a little bit of revenue. This is just coming from Trade Ideas, but just a quick thing there. It looks like if they have revenue and cash on hand, don't know if they're making money. It's an oncology. We'll find out. Obviously, it's in the right space for this. So I don't know if they have a technology or what they're working on right now, but congratulations to anybody that knew something other than Wayne about Seagon, because this is seriously.
In fairness, the strategy that we deploy as day
That's a tough one.
traders
That's a
to get into it doesn't necessarily rely on knowing too much about the company. You might care how big the float is and how many shares are available because liquidity matters, and that's why we probably wouldn't have looked at it. Like we're not gonna look whenever Reddit IPOs sometime in the next couple of quarters, we're gonna be long at the open on Reddit. What's the first one? Shein probably going to be the next one to come.
What was the last one we had? Instacart was a disaster. We had.
It was ARM, Instacart,
Birkenstock was
and
great.
Birkenstock.
I think
those were the
some,
last three.
Yeah, I think we had some great longs in Burke.
And that's sort of the thing. Like once they're there, you take your shot at them. If certain conditions happen, you might add to it if you find a big support level. On that IPO today, it opened at 29. At 28.50, 250,000 shares just sitting on the bid. It bounced at 55, and the rest is history. So when we talk about simplistic setups for like a day trade or a short-term trade, like look at this is not nonsense. This is 29 even where it opened up. Come to my chart, Fabian. So this is 29 even where it opened up. That bottom is 28.55. Anyone with level 2, there was a 250,000 shares sitting there at 28.50. You could have just gone long through 29, and that's what the boys behind us were looking at. And then once you're in that long, it's really just up to you. Do you think it's going to 40? My guess is pretty much nobody would have thought that, but if you did, congratulations to you. I didn't trade it, wish we had. Neo just slowly creeping. It's 313, and I'm in a Chinese ADR again. Oh, honey, we're in a Chinese ADR that's very slowly moving. Not surprised whatsoever. Rivian's starting to come back in. I might reload it off 15. Again, it gets to 15.10 again and cannot bust through. But if it holds a higher low, I'll go to add into that long and look for the break at 15.10. It's that simple. I just want 15.10 to break, and I already want to be in it when it happens. The market might roll back over. My shot for the short was going to be the pop in Marvell, which is nowhere near VWAP. Maybe I just have to short the 70.5 or Micron, and Micron is a little bit closer. So Micron's up 1%, but I'll break the tie with a better setup as it's tighter to VWAP. One more push, and I think I get into this short. I still think we can roll back over to the lows. The market's still red on the day.
I did short, while we had Frank on there, this was a small hit, but we did take a hit on it. We did short Meta against 93. So we went short. I mean, this is why we didn't really talk too much about it. We were short at 83 there. We got out at a break higher, so break of that, we got out 10s or 12s or something there. So that was about a 30-cent hit. But Meta's come back in. This could be a name that interests me a little bit here for a short, because we are pulling back in. So PayPal's going to go $1. That's fine. I'm waiting for this to break 60. It's been doing nothing all day, kind of like what Neil was saying there about Neo, just kind of doing nothing. So Tesla, that was, thankfully we got out there, man. We have 25, 50. So those were good at the 50 period. Then that was good at 83.
Oh, shoot.
Now you're falling back down quite, I don't want to say dramatically, but it's definitely a little dramatic there, as you now have minute candles. Look at that, it's bouncing right off the 200. If I felt better about the long, you could reload this right now. You're back to the 200 period. The thing is, we still failed at VWAP. I thought that there was a chance to get back up there. Tesla's been a good trade today, both ways, man. I tried to get this 85 break. I crossed down 20 pennies. Not enough. So
yeah, the Tesla break was ridiculous.
Yeah, like, and it was like that 1 minute candle there on the breakdown.
I didn't get filled, but I saw first liquidity visually on level 2.
Was the lowest it got in the same.
I think I saw like 60 something that was maybe. So if you crossed, you would have gotten filled. You would have for sure gotten filled before 60, but that was stupid. There was so much on the bid. So Neil Pivot, Pitchbull just reminded me of Pitchbull, great name in the chat. Not just Micron, which I did just jump into the short of, but Intel as well. They report earnings tonight, but Intel did just get up close to VWAP as well, trending to the downside. Maybe should have got back into this. I went over to, I do this from time to time. Like that short worked, I went over to Marvell. That ended up being the right call because Marvell was a weaker stock. But yeah, Intel back into this 50 level. Gonna short I just shorted 44s. I'll give it to 50. Micron we just jumped into. I still believe like try short the pops here because the trend is still to the downside in the market. Like I know the market's bouncing right here. Whoops, there we go. But the trend is still lower highs all the way through. And if the trend is lower highs, short the pops until it stops working. I feel that the trend broke a little bit for something like a Rivian, the way that it made the bottom on the daily, that's a distinction. Like this is a stock making higher lows all day since making its double bottom. So I'll give it that credit. And then Neo, well, Neo's first of all like barely moving, but Neo again, this is also like double bottom, then higher lows, trying to break out. Like that's a relatively strong stock. It's just running out of time to do anything because it's 317 and it's a Chinese ADR.
So a name I just keep forgetting about, and I don't really know why, is for me, P&L wise, it'll be Google now, unfortunately. No, sorry, Google, yeah, it's Google because we're realized it all. Tesla is my number one, but it's unrealized, so we're gonna wait for that. Because if it falls back down, then, like if I get out now, it's about the same as Google, so we'll wait on that. What I was getting at there was Disney. So Disney's creeping as well. Up to the top. So Disney came back in and gave us these bottoms. And again, the only reason we took it was we fell back in there at the time. I think it must have been the 200 period. Now it's sort of swooped up there. But then if you're looking at the 20-minute chart as well, Disney right into here dropped in. Like where are we long? 93.80? Like that's this level right here, 93.80. We kept on bouncing off of it. So that's where we got long there on Disney. It fell back in, came into the 200 period. And like I said, at that time, it must have been down there because I don't think I would sort of randomly bought this. It does coincide with that break right there. We talked about breaking pre-market levels. And then the rest is history on Disney and including it nicely done to the upside here. And we're still in it. So I was actually trying to wait for 94.80. It's not a huge trade, it's 70 cents, but at the end of the day, most of these outs were up here, which are all pretty good. It did try to go against us, but didn't, and we've just been scalping it out. So this is as high as it's been. This is the best trade that this is the best spot I've been able to get out of since being in this position. So let's see what happens here with Disney. I still like it. And you know what we didn't talk about one time, not on the midday show, not on this show, the morning show.
We got Netflix.
Nothing. We didn't even look at Netflix. Like,
they're up to
this is a day 2 play, baby. We should have been all over this, but we weren't. So hold on a second. Let's just see what we got looking at here. So Netflix, yesterday's, and the reason why I'm doing this is because tomorrow we're going to look at Like, I'm going to trade Tesla, obviously, tomorrow. I traded it every day, literally. Maybe not literally, but pretty much. So here we go. Let's see what we can do something. So yesterday's so where's today's bottom? 548. It doesn't mean just because the way this trades is the way it's going to trade tomorrow on Tesla. But if we just draw a line like this, you could see that bottom right there. And I only went to this for the very first time now. I didn't look at Netflix before or anything, so it's not like we planned this discussion. But you could just see that was the bottom there until it broke and stayed under the whole time. Now you start the day off and you basically bounce off 450, 448, very first thing, rips all the way up, bounces off it again, comes up again. These are like $5 moves, right? Like if you zoom into this, like look at this. So here it comes, absorbs it, boom. Comes in again, 548, boom, up to 54, that's $6. Comes in again, gets shallower, does not hit it. Boom, and then boom, comes, and then look at this. Like, okay.
Come again.
Okay, thank you, come again. Like, this is amazing. So we'll see that tomorrow, man, this 548, and then we'll see if we can get some love like that tomorrow on Tesla, because that was a missed opportunity. So I will just fake write it on my sticky note. There, Netflix tomorrow. Now I'm reminded to watch out for that 548 level.
Well, I'm going to put it on my iPad. A couple of things here. I know I'm in SoFi, and I haven't mentioned it once. Mostly because I didn't anticipate making another execution until I got out of it. SoFi was just a range-bound trade. Like sometimes you look for the pattern. It was just, like so at the open, it's at the same bottom from yesterday, makes that bottom, and then stalls out right in this overnight, underneath this afternoon high. Like this is like 778. It stalls out at 776. So when it goes to the bottom end of the top again, I'm like, well, if it's going to do that, let's just short it off of here, and then it probably goes to the low. So that's exactly what happened. I'm still holding on to some in case it broke the bottom. Clearly, you guys can see it did not break the bottom, so we're still in SoFi. Intel came out, but Micron is still holding on. So Intel worked down a little bit, but now breaking a little bit higher with the market. It's a little further from VWAP. They do report. I'll keep a tight leash on it. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Intel had an imbalance one way or the other. And it's like that's a lot of green going into it. So I'm going to stay away from reloading Intel unless it fails underneath VWAP again. Still like Micron's holding the pocket a little bit better. So that's still working into the downside. I tried to reload Rivian. I haven't gotten it just yet. I'll let you know. Oh, while Frank was talking, I covered some. Fisker actually made a bottom here at 72.5. So I'm probably going to get out of all of it if it breaks 75. Still thought we had a chance to break that low. It never did. But I'm going to come into tomorrow thinking the same thing I thought today until it stops. Fisker, it's just continued trend down. It failed the $1. Tried to break back above $1. It failed that. It's now broken its whatever bottom. It's probably an all-time low, I'm assuming. Whatever that is. I'm sure it's an all-time low. Continues to go lower. The EVs are weak until proven otherwise. So until you show me a day where these stocks are going up more than one day, I think you look for shorts. I was looking for a short in Lucid as well today. I just thought maybe you would get something into the 280s. But Lucid was another patented, you had to be sitting in it in the pre-market because that was your only chance to get the good short. Like, it's wild. Just go in, sit down, be in the short in Lucid 2 days in a row, and you don't have to do anything else. There's a risk associated with that. It's a pre-market. You can't load up because there's not a lot of volume or volatility or liquidity. But if you're in it, it was an easy trade. I might have a piece of that, but I also like a 250. Like if 250 breaks down in Lucid, I'd like to take that as well tomorrow.
I'm debating getting out of this Disney, but it just made a move. It's not making any move, sorry. I was thinking that it was going to go to the upside here, but we'll have to wait to see what happens with Disney right now. It's trying to do something. I just don't really know what. So we'll wait for it right now, Disney. If it takes out that high, maybe we just get out. We're running into some time here. I mean, pretty soon Brendan will give us the imbalance locator, and then we'll be able to figure it out with all of that. So hopefully that will come through for that, and then we will soon see. But that's Disney. Nice upside. I'd love to talk about something else. So is there anything else anybody wants to look at here? First of all, what's winning this poll right now? Intel. Okay, let's just have a quick.
Well, it's chalk because Intel's expected move is. It's not even close between these names. Like,
what is Intel's?
Intel's expected move is 7.4%. T-Mobile 3.7. Visa 2.9, and the other one is
Yeah, it's a little bit cherry
It
picking.
was a WD. I don't even see it on here. Am I blind?
You don't see some Western Dig?
I'm like, now I'm just like, you guys are gonna make fun of me because I don't, oh, there, it's way down here. So actually, Western Digital 6.6. So now I'm liking that pick even better. Last time it was 7.3%, and now it's saying 6.6. So previous move on Intel was 9.3. Visa's last move was 1% on last earnings. So I think you're back in the right horse if you're picking Intel or WDC, just in terms of what you can expect. But Intel, look, I like the opportunity there, but you don't know what you're going to get. You can't come in thinking, oh, Intel's going to be at this price. It's more of an if-then statement,
right?
When it comes to Intel. Like I have a general idea that if it's breaking out 51, I'm probably thinking long over 51s. Let's be real, but I don't know where. If it goes to the downside, it goes 10% down. Like you're somewhere around that 45 range. So you're either, if you go that 10%, you're either breaking out tops, which like long over those tops, or you're going to open, if it's 10%, literally at the obvious support level. So that's right at the 50 period. That sets up like an over-under trade for me. If it does that, it's not so simple as, oh, it's down, I want to look for short. So maybe look for that false break if that were to be the case. Neil's still not doing anything. Rivian, I was about to talk about Rivian, and then I got sidetracked there. Rivian bounced off 15 again, so I reloaded in front of 15. Shocking. Gets back up to those 10s. I suppose it's struggling to break this. And you're running out of time for this to break. It's 325 already. We'll get the early look on the imbalances in 4 minutes. Yeah, so it's probably time to start trimming some positions. AMD thoughts from Oz. Good in the chat. What do we think about AMD? Ugly wick on the daily on my my chart here, but remember 181 on AMD this morning? 181 this afternoon. Like 181 was with the bounce off 180, failed 181, then the short underneath. That kind of worked, but it was this short here because when I was long on the 180 bounce, it was just all kinds of selling here. Like it bounced clean off 180 and then ran into just a ton of sellers at 181. So I started thinking short. So I shorted it twice to no success at that 181 level. And now all afternoon, 181's resistance. So I don't know if there's enough time for this. Maybe a pop-in fade at 350 at 181. Like it goes in right before the imbalances come out. Maybe it goes to that price, and then you can throw a tight stop. Imbalance comes out red, you win. It comes out green, you stop out just in front of it or just over it.
Yeah, I like those.
But that's a big level. I'm going to do this because when I see that, I know tomorrow I'm going to like the 181 level, at least as a good reference, knowing that it's a key price level. So you can set an alert. I can write it on my iPad, or I can draw a fancy line on my chart, which, thank you, P Pro 8. See, that's one of the features I actually really like. If you, on an intraday chart, I throw it on my 3-minute, it shows up on my 15-minute. But I don't want it on my daily chart because that's different. So now I know a key level that I'm working with tomorrow on AMD. Hopefully Micron will continue to the downside. Probably should have held on to Intel, but whatever. You got to have it out.
So a little light on the viewership. I normally don't have this open right now. Only 4,000 right here is what I'm seeing watching. But the thing about it that's bothering me is not that. It's we have 424 likes. So please, guys, everybody hit the like button. Yesterday on the after show.
Like and subscribe today.
On the recap show, we had Kat, we had Ramin. They both waved hi to everybody. So, we did it for you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe right now, and get going on that one. Thank you, Miss Kat, and everybody in there. I don't remember the last time we actually asked for that, so do it, and thank you so much for doing it. All it takes is that. Just hit the like button. You don't have to subscribe, but share it if you can. I think that'd be great as well.
Do all of that.
Do all that. Just do everything you possibly can. I think that's a good
whatever your cup of tea is. Like,
yes, whatever you want to do.
There's a good question in the chat. Someone just said, Intel going to tank the chips?
Oh yeah, Intel. That's what I wanted to look at.
Here's the thing. I tend to think that one of these chip earnings is going to tank, is going to cause the pullback. The easy and chalk answer to me is NVIDIA. They're at the end of earnings season. You get all the good news, and then NVIDIA will drop at the end. That's the obvious answer. Intel's tomorrow. I think it's a higher probability that AMD could cause a turn in the market. I'm going to go to AMD first. Like, the reason I think maybe not Intel, like I said, NVIDIA is an easy answer for that. They're at the end of earnings season. If there's going to be a pullback, makes sense. But the way AMD is accelerated, next Tuesday, I mean, come on, like this stock has doubled from October. Doubled from October. Like that's a big move. This could easily turn the semis as well. Like it's not all up to NVIDIA on the 21st. You know, these guys on whatever next Tuesday is. What's next Tuesday? The 2nd?
Is that when they report? Or?
No, well, I know it's on Tuesday. I just don't know what day of the month. Doesn't really. You guys know what's up. So next Tuesday, that'll be a big one. Maybe Intel does it, but let's be real. Intel doesn't have the same influence that they used to. And as much as they've had a good run on them, they're not the one breaking out fresh highs going into earnings. They're putting in lower highs. So I think you have a better chance of turning the entire sector with AMD or NVIDIA than you do with Intel. Doesn't mean it can't happen. I'm not convinced that Intel ends the party.
Yeah, no, it's aftermarket on Wednesday. Yep.
It's Wednesday, yeah.
Oh no, Tuesday. So you said the 30th.
I just don't know what day I don't know what day.
30th is the Tuesday. Yeah.
Well, it's the 30th. Well, I thought that was. Oh yeah, of course.
You said 30th, and I just was looking up what day it was. It is the 30th right here. Yeah, Jan 30. So we'll wait for that. I don't. The reason why I don't think, like, just to go with Neil there, Intel is not the same as AMD. Like they're not in the same, you know,
This
producing
is
those
2024. You know,
it's not. Yeah, just they're not producing those high-powered chips to the same extent that NVIDIA and AMD do. Like if AMD misses, then that's just going to be disastrous for everybody. I feel like for absolutely everybody.
When we started trading, the earnings report you looked for in the semis to move the markets was Intel.
Oh yeah.
When we started trading.
For now though, we'll watch it. So here's Intel. I'm going to say it beats. Again, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Netflix, where we just kept on riding up this. Nexus was a little tighter. We didn't have as much sort of back and forth here a little bit, but you're still riding this 200 period or this 50 period on the daily to the upside like that. You know, I feel like it's not priced for perfection. It's not like I mean, it's mooned. It's mooned the same way. I mean, Neil just talked about stock AMD doubling from its bottom, which it's not. Well, actually, now today it is. Yeah, 180. Yeah. So this one, 32, didn't quite get to 64 or anything like that. So I feel like you're near that top. So what I mean by a beat is I think we can get north side of 51, 52, and we'll sit up there, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow off the open. So I feel like it could beat. I do like that name. Okay, here we go. So now we're really starting to get going for Tesla, starting to get back to the upside. Remember, I was like, hey, you could buy this right there. Should have. That was a good level there, back on the 200 period. This is a 200 period moving average, simple moving average on a 1 minute chart. Make sure that you join me tonight. We're gonna have Danielle Shay on board. I don't have the thing yet, but tonight we'll be talking all about options, and she absolutely nailed this Tesla call. So we'll talk to her. What is she doing now with her position? Is there a lower look here for her? I talked about 170. I'm sure she's going to say something like that. We'll hear from Danielle tonight as we go. So that'll be tonight on the recap show. Me and Danielle will talk everything. We'll talk everything else. Caterpillar, Deere. There's a couple names that she likes in there. Some of the bank names are starting to get hot. Again, as XLF is really ripping up. But there that goes. And then our out on AMD still is legit, man. We got out of that short from up here, right here. Part of it, anyways. We didn't have very many shares. But that's that trade. So yeah, we're just looking to make a little more damage. Finally, looks like PayPal's is $1 in the money, and Tesla's $2 in the money, and Disney is trying to get up to $1 in the money as well. We're almost at our level, man. If we get this high, let's put an offer at $94.75. If we get $94.75, then we'll get out of Disney. We still have those imbalances, and then Brendo,
21 million,
an amazing 21 million to buy. So I say that tongue in cheek because that's a very, very low number. The numbers we're looking for again.
That's as small as it can get.
Yeah, even $1 billion would be nice.
Start to wind down some. I'm starting to wind down.
Yeah, I feel winding
here.
down.
But a couple. There was a good question. It was EV Auto Man. Oh my goodness. EV Auto Man.
No, I think he means Evado. I think you were right about that.
Don't worry, I'm an idiot. Hi, I'm Neil. I can't read because we're live. How do you know Tesla's in short restriction? So there's it's SSR, short sell restriction. It basically happens on any stock that is down 10% from the previous close, and it's in effect that day and the next day. So on any U.S. stock, if you get that condition, you can then only short by removing liquidity off the bid on the uptick. So today and tomorrow, this is going to be SSR. Tesla is, anyways. Just one other point to this. because we keep talking about this on Tesla and 170. To me, this is starting to become a moving target. Before earnings, this trend line, which by the way lines up all the way back to the split top, so you get the split top, and it's now these two lower highs since January or since the middle of 2023. So the next one, it was 170, but this trend line now works down to about 166. So I think that's where we're kind of headed to. I know if we bounce off that, then I will have bought my long term at least once. If it shows any kind of a bid down, if it does anything like this, like any consolidation or does like a bounce here and then a hold higher and close above, I'm buying that for sure off this level. So the first chance I get, that's where I'm looking for the dip buy on Tesla with a tiny imbalance, tiny, small, whatever you want to call it. Not really affecting things too much, but I did jump out of Micron there. Micron broke the local high. I didn't scalp it out. Could have taken some scalp trades. I probably should have done so. But the individual names on the imbalances, when it's 21 million, this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise that you don't have any of the big names up here. However, Ford is a 4 million buy imbalance. Now, I know it doesn't move a lot, but believe it or not, Ford's actually moving today. This is like I'm not saying it's the one day, but Ford's up 2%. Have a look at the other EV charts or the other auto stocks, and you tell me how they're doing today. Spoiler alert, not good. Ford is going to, okay, it's not, maybe it closes at the high, maybe it doesn't. But that's a big imbalance. Now, this is actually set up for some kind of a play. Were it to come out as a big imbalance, try to break the high, look for it to get paired off. Like it's just sitting there at like 1130 is the high. What I would try to do is like short like 28 or 29. If it comes out of buy and bounce, look for the flip play at 355. So if it comes out a big buy and bounce, it tries to break the top. At 354, it's at the top, it's starting to pair off. Then if it flips or pairs off, it flips at 55 and then goes back down. That's the kind of play I like. With the stock screaming into the high of the day, you get some profit taking near the end. So I might be looking at Ford for that kind of a gimmick play, so long as that buy and balance stays big. Rivian's probably not, at this rate, it's not gonna break this 10. It's 336. Like it's bouncing off 15. This has turned out what I thought could have been a big breakout trade. Like go long here, it's going to 25, risk 10 cents on it to no, risk 3 or 4 cents on it and try and take 6 or 7 because that's what it's turned itself into. But you take what the market gives you. It's not really moving that much.
Yeah, not much moving right now. And that's so, yeah, we're basically doing exactly that. We just tweeted it out. We got out at 68. That high was 75. I was just like, when I saw that number from Brendo, I was like, okay, we'll just try to get it out now. And that's what we did. So we got it out, and now we'll wait to see what happens. So there it is. We're out of Disney. We're still waiting, though. Still waiting for a little bit more here. And hopefully we can get it, right? Or if it comes down, we'll get some more. But we are now out of that trade. Waiting for more on Tesla and thinking about just ending this trade here on PayPal. So that could be something that we're waiting for, again, to finish off. So that's that trade. Hopefully that will come back in. What else you guys want me to look at? Is there anything? Thank you so much, Payco OR, saying a nice show. We really appreciate that. We'll try to cover as many names as possible. It gets a little bit slow. If you really want a lot of trading, man, like during the open, is pretty
you never want to overtrade. The thing about
you don't want to overtrade in the afternoon. Actually, that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about too. Was feels like sometimes we get a little too excited here into the close.
Well, because it's like in the open, like if you cast a wide net at the open and it's like okay, hold everything that works and get out of everything that doesn't. It's got all day to work.
Yeah.
It's a very different atmosphere. Like you can be in 5 or 6 stocks and like by the end of it, like this morning, I traded a bunch of stuff. When the dust was settled, I was still sitting in, like Fisker was still working to the downside, like it just never stopped. Rivian was good pretty much the entire way. So you can end up in these stocks that just go for you. In the afternoon, that's very unlikely to happen. It's just not as opportune. That said, you just mentioned Netflix, which we hadn't talked about. Look at Netflix at 330.
There it goes, man. It's at 458, 448 level.
Yeah, like look at another leg up. It just broke 54 in VWAP into 57. So this continues to be fantastic. And I mean, look at this daily chart. What I wanted to point out with Netflix, I'll have to show you on the weekly chart because the daily chart is just going to be like, hey, look at it, a blue sky setup. But on the weekly chart, like Netflix it's got a little bit more room to go. Like 580 and then 620. So you're at 556 right now. That's two legs up that Netflix can still put on until you get to the big resistance on the weekly chart. And when I'm looking for big resistance, I'm not looking on the daily chart. I'm looking at a weekly chart, generally speaking. So Netflix, congratulations if you picked that one up on earnings. It's still going. It's undisputed. Didn't trade it either day, but tomorrow's a new day. Just because you don't trade it one day doesn't mean you can't trade it the other. Come on, just go up like a couple cents and fill.
Just thinking about putting in a stop here for PayPal. Our first stop for that one. I'm just trying to get it all out here.
It's just holding the low.
Yeah, it was 61.66 was our first out, so it was all the way up here, like basically even higher than that. Like this is where we were going to get stopped out, up here somewhere, 60. Oh, must have been VWAP. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's where we were going to get stopped out. Now it doesn't look like we're getting stopped out there. So we'll change our stop now. I don't know. What about just a break of 50? I mean, if it gets back up there, fine. So I guess we got to cancel our one thing and put this in. So you'll see me do it here. 60.51. Push enter, and now we just sit in that trade and wait for it. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. We'll wait to see if PayPal goes back up to the upside. Other than that, we'll wait. We could put a bid down here. I don't think we crack that low, and if we do, I'm sitting right here. The net will reflect that, so if it does come back down, we'll deal with it. I just don't want to bid 60 in case for some reason it does crack down, but 60 would be a fantastic out, and quite frankly, 60.20 would be a good out, that bottom right there.
I see what you did.
Yeah, because of Frank. Well, I realized it after I said that, but.
Well, it's also look at the shot that you're in right now because the IG is right underneath you.
Oh yeah, get sponsored by IG Direct. Hit that. Forex trading.
This is
5 p.m. Sunday
this is a silly question, Fabian, but
5 p.m. Sunday.
We're a live show, but you go back to that go to the last shot where it's like Sean's chart, and then it's like a person speaking there. Do we have it where like the two of us can be in those two things and we're talking about the same chart? Can we do that?
Yeah, sometimes they put Sharif up in there.
Because that'd be pretty cool. Like, well, we could be when we're having a discussion about something, it's always us in the two shot. But imagine we were discussing the stock, and then it's like the two of us, up and down. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that would look pretty cool every now and then. But yeah, we always try to make the show look better, be better, sound better. Well, maybe not look better, not in my case.
Look, I'm in the queue for this.
Older.
There's no way these are going to be here, man. Olivia Rodrigo tickets.
Good luck with that, bro.
No, they're already sold. They've been sold out for months.
Yeah, well, welcome to the secondary market.
I already went there. They're $5 a ticket. So, yeah, I can't. My daughter is like, oh, Rod. I was looking all throughout to try to get tickets over Christmas and everything like that, and it was like, no way.
I'm glad, honestly.
But I would pay that. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here.
I'm cheap as you know what. On Saturday, we're going to like, it's like some kids pop concert. My daughter's into like, it's not Kids Bop, because Kids Bop is the brand name. It's like Kids Pop. I don't even know what it is.
Pop.
My daughter's so excited for it. When she transitions from that to like the actual artist, then I'm in a world of hurt. But like, I don't mind. I'll be that. Like, we go to concerts all the time. We used to go to like Sharon Lois and Bram, and then Fred Penner. If you're Canadian, you know what's up. And now it's Kids Pop. Eventually, I'll be doing the same thing Sean is doing. I'll just be complaining about it a heck of a lot more, the prices. Because $500.
That's in the set, yeah. And there is
$5.
Yeah, there's. Oh, that's if you're lucky. I don't think you could even get them for that much.
But like, where is that? Like, what
the
are we
worst
talking?
seats ever. High levels. So here we go.
There's no bad seats.
Unavailable.
In defense of the Scotiabank Arena, that's where the Raptors play. Everybody that's not from Toronto. There aren't bad seats. Like I
bet you if I go one ticket,
they're really
probably
good.
One ticket. Nah, there's nothing. There ain't crap here. Hi, Sean. You got punked. Yeah, so that sucks.
You're only punked after you pay for it.
No. I would pay for this in a heartbeat, but unfortunately, there are no tickets available. Boo! My wife is already in there.
Somebody get this man some tickets to Olivia Rodrigo.
Please. I'm trying to exhaust all my connects.
It should be. It's like that movie. What's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he's trying to get that stupid toy for his kid for Christmas? And then he ends up like fighting Sinbad. What the heck? I forget what it's called. It was like a long time ago.
Kindergarten Cop?
Was it? I don't know. Like the whole movie, he's just trying to get a toy for his kid, and he's like battling this other dude, his other dad, played by Sinbad, believe it or not, Jingle All the Way. Somehow Adair knew that. You weren't even alive when that had to come out. Wow, okay. Anyways.
Yeah, but she wasn't alive, like, when a lot of these movies, like,
True that.
sub 25 years old or something.
True that. Jingle All the Way.
You know, like Scarface.
Whatever happened to Sinbad? Hopefully he's not.
Sinbad?
He's not passed away, is he?
Yeah.
You
You know
guys
what I
have-
really liked? Arsenio Hall.
I
Arsenio.
loved Arsenio Hall.
Nobody knows who that is. Okay, so we will go on. Fabian, Arsenio Hall, you have no idea, right? No, see, looking at us like we're going crazy over here. You know, late night used to be good. I'll leave it at that. Okay, Tesla, so it's 344 right now. We will wait out. Yeah, shout out to Sinbad. That's right, everybody. I'm still.
Good one, Ponzi Fonzie.
What's that guy saying?
No, because they heard the kindergarten cop, so he's like, "Who is your daddy, and what does he do?"
Damn it, I'm still shook. I mean, I knew I wasn't getting that. The queue, I think
That's what it.
I don't know how many tickets they released, but it was all sold out anyways. So they probably changed the stage and went to the other side. So when I got the email, I clicked on it. I was 3 minutes late. I was 7,000th in line, and you could buy 4 tickets, of which every single person would buy 4 tickets.
See, here's what you should be doing. You were talking about the algo room scalping. You should get them to do some kind of like hack so that like the second it opens up, like that's the way to get that stuff, man. It's just you're not beating the people that automate it, man. Like you get the automation.
That came in.
When Hamilton came to Toronto,
3:15.
I had like I knew I wanted to go. I had like other people, like we had like 6 or 7 people that were doing it for me. I'm like, just do it, whatever. I want to make sure like those tickets, and of course then COVID happened, so that was a lot of fun. But what else we got going? RVSN tanking. What else is moving, guys? Because I'm like everything I'm looking at is going sideways. I'm just looking to trim and get out of positions. Rivian just pulled. I'm not reloading Rivian. It's 346. Like that bounced off 15 again. And where do you think it went to? Spoiler alert: 1509. So it's not breaking 10s. Obviously, that's not happening. But you know what? Maybe we get really lucky and it's sitting at 15 tomorrow and it breaks 1510 at 9:30.
That'd be all right.
Like that's clearly a wall. Like ignore what happened in the first like 1 minute at the open. 1510 has been the level on Rivian. So I'm getting out in front of it, and hopefully tomorrow we can take some kind of a breakup because I do feel this stock after Tesla, this was as bad as it's going to get. Well, okay, maybe not, but Tesla down double digits, Rivian down 2%, and holding this 15 level. Even a small rally can get you 16 or 17 bucks. I think it's worth a shot tomorrow on Rivian if it breaks that 1510. If it gaps above it, you got to play it by ear because you don't know what price you'll be paying. But I do know I like that breakout because you can go long 11, 12, throw a stop just underneath 15. That's risk to reward I can wrap myself around, no problem. Wrap my head around, no problem.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is to try to figure out where that risk and reward is. Oh, there are single tickets available. Ah, damn it. Okay, yeah, $347.
For a single?
Yeah, to sit near the floor, but not on the floor. Okay, so the amount of money that people make right now is ridiculous.
You just get one here, one there, and figure it out.
Yeah,
Gangster
that is
style.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's 9, so I think she probably has to sit near one of us.
She is very mature for her age.
Yeah, she's very, very. She's amazing.
I don't know about like on her own at the ACC, mature, but
She's not doing that. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'll get them on the secondary market. Okay,
it's
all right.
not $50 for.
Oh, we got out. So we got out. PayPal did break right there, $60.50. So there it is, upside right there. No, so I went to the Travis Scott concert. It's like $16 for a drink or so. Canadian, so maybe
like it's
12
$12 US. Yeah.
Something like that. We're not quite in SoFi Stadium prices as of yet.
I'm gonna get.
So I'm only in. So there it is. So we got out of PayPal. That was a great trade there. That's $1. And then we got out of Disney. We only have a couple minutes left. Disney we got out at the top, and then we'll just wait for Tesla. So Tesla's a pretty easy trade for me. You're probably gonna break this one, and if it does, we're gonna get out. So let's just do that. My stop was breaking through 180, but now we don't have to worry about it. Let's just use this. So let's kind of use where we got out before, 180, 150. So just in case there is a major downside push here, we will get out. But it's been a great day here to trade Tesla. It will be, if I get out right here, it's my #1 stock. Other than that, we will sit with Google as being #1 for me. And the Google trade was really, really easy, man. That's why I liked it. This 153 short was so easy. But the market fell. It's only easy. Even if I lost on it, it's easy. And what I mean by that is like, it gives the outs. It gave you so many outs. So the reason why it's #1 stock is I was able to put on many more shares than I would have just randomly at these levels because I had a lot of confidence up here at 153 because it hadn't broke. Well, it did break to 153.12, but 12 cents wasn't going to get me off of it. So anyways, nice downside move there with only now 50 seconds or 45 seconds right now to go, and then we'll get those imbalances. So I just want to thank, I'm pretty exhausted today, like needless to say, but we're going to have that big closing show with Danielle Shay, Intel,
Visa, WDC, and T-Mobile.
Intel's still winning.
Those are the big ones. But Intel, like I said, that's chalk. It not only had the biggest previous move, it's the biggest implied move. So Intel's the obvious answer. I think the more low-key answer was WDC because of its big move last time and the fact that no one wants to bet on them making a big one. So imbalance is about to drop out. I could trail out of Rivian if there happens to be an imbalance, or maybe it'll pop for me, who knows. But there was this, a TLT gets bigger and bigger on the imbalance every day. TLT 6 million to buy. Intel 3 million to the buy side. Palantir 1.8 million to buy. What else we got? Enbridge, who cares? GM, meh, sell side 1 million. Marvell almost $1 million. That's actually pretty big for Marvell. Lucid, that's small for Lucid. Micron's to the buy side 900,000. Where are the other big tech names? So I'm scrolling. If I get to 500,000, there's AMD, but there's nothing. None of the big tech names are there, unless they just popped in as I was scrolling. So Intel is the biggest, 3 million of a stock that we'll pay attention to. Did it even move though? Is the question. Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a move there in Intel. Like it popped like maybe 15, 20 cents on that imbalance to the upside. Rivian, that's back at 9s. Should probably just get it all. Just get on the offer. This is not breaking that silly 10 level, so I'm just gonna see if I can't get filled at 9 because that is the top. So Rivian 15.10. If you can't tell that 15.10 is a big deal, now I should have just punched 8s. Yeah, if you can't tell that 15.10 is a big deal, I don't know what you're looking at, but Rivian just turned around. I think Intel will watch this one going into the close because it has a big imbalance, and they report aftermarket. I don't know exactly what time, but I feel as if, generally speaking, when it gets covered in the first half an hour. So it's going to be, it'll be on the recap show. Whether or not that's 4 or 405, 410, I'm not entirely sure. But 100%, 99.999% chance Intel is going to be there for the recap show, as with most of these names. It's very few, like Apple, I know sometimes reports late, but you'll get that one on the show. I'm now out of Rivian. We'll watch out to see if Tesla does anything, and apparently PCSA is doing something.
That TLT is always there.
Yeah, I'm not going to trade this, but yeah, PCSA did make a nice pop to the upside. So if you got that one, congratulations. Double top at the high of the day. The good thing about this is look at these names. When they hold, so they gap and then hold and then break late and close higher, all you got to do is not gap down. If you hold those highs, you can still set up a breakout on day 2 for something like a PCSA. This is, again, just another one of those. Reverse split, small float, take out the top.
All right, we might just have to end it here. There's really not much happening here at all on Tesla. I mean, I'm hoping that it can end the day for a nice high side move. So maybe we'll just put an offer right there and see if we get it. 180, I mean, it's need to blast up. Let's just go to 183. If we get that, and then we'll be all good. My wife just got 2 tickets in the pit, $800 each. I told her we're not buying those. $800 for my kid to go. She get destroyed in that
once
pit.
In a lifetime.
Yeah, it is a once in a lifetime. But I think I could get those if I wanted them. That's a lot in the pit for Olivia Rodrigo. Oh my God, it's getting spicy there.
Be throwing bows.
I'm a little distracted here. All right, so we're waiting at 183 right now to get a little piece out. So if that happens, that happens. But everything else is out. PayPal was a banger, man. Disney was a banger. We're still ready to go. So there it is, 94.70. Nice little topside move. That's it. We're getting ready for this closing show, so I'm going to have to wrap it up in just a couple of seconds. We don't have any more trades other than Tesla, and I might just close it. I mean, honestly, we're waiting for 183. This might just be good enough. So let's end it. So there it is. We punch out, and that was a good trade to end the day. Nice little money one there as we go. So far, so good. I'm going to switch over there. The wife is on these tickets. Hopefully she finds something, and we can continue with our day. So there it is. Tesla out. Good trade. We have Danielle Shay coming on in just a couple of seconds. Ramin, you never sent me the thing to retweet, but I'm sure it's out there. Go find it. We're live on Twitch and not Twitch. We're live on Twitter as
X.
well as YouTube.
X.
X.
We always say Twitter.
X gonna give it to you.
It's all good. I mean, X sounds cool, but Twitter is what we know it as. There was a good point made here. I just wanted to make sure. First of all, I did close the poll, and it's still Intel. 47%. Nobody, at least WDC is now 10%. But there was a good point that got made. I might have missed it, so I'm not going to be able to find it scrolling it. But the point was the possibility of PCSA having the ability to do an offering. Now, I don't know for sure, but when you're swinging stocks like this, if you happen to be, knowledge of whether or not they have filed to be able to drop an offering is a big deal, because there's a big difference between, hey, they have the ability to do it anytime they want because they've already filed, or they'd actually have to go, when the stock pops, they'd have to go into that process and it would take a little bit of time. So you want to know that, because you can come in and if they have the ability to drop it, what do you think the executives are thinking of a penny stock when they had to reverse split just to remain compliant and then the stock breaks out the top? It's got to be on their minds to raise more capital. Like, the stock does this for a reason, right? So I'd always want to be knowledge. I don't swing these, and if I do, I want to have knowledge of that because it's important, especially if you're holding overnight intraday. Sometimes you can get away with it. Offerings can happen sometimes in the pre-market. It's relatively rare that an offering would get dropped in the middle of the day. So during regular trading hours, you're probably okay not having to worry about that. But pre-market, overnight, that is prime time for it. And when the chart looks like this, I know what I'd be thinking if I was the CEO when the stock starts breaking out. How can I actually raise some funds? Because you know they're going to need it. So what else we got going on here? Well, some people talking about Intel, of course. Any thoughts on their results? I think the margins have already been improving. The expectations, the problem here for me is I look at how good some of the earnings were with ASML and with LAM, and then the reaction of LAM was a little bit relatively muted. So I think the problem is even if you continue to have improving margins for them, you start to have data center improving as well. Like, even if you get all of that, they got Gaudi, which is coming online. You're going to hear all about that, of course, when they're trying to combat NVIDIA when it comes to the AI chip market. So they're doing all the right things, but you're getting some hints here that you're showing a bit of a top. I always let price action determine it for me. So I think I think the report's going to be good. I'm just questioning whether it has the juice to break through those highs. Like, that's where my concern would be. Did I recently sell some? Short answer is yes. The last time it popped the 50 level, I took some of that and I put it into ARM. That was something I had intended to do anyway. So I tend to move money around as opposed to get out of the market. So what I did is I wanted to be building a position in ARM, and instead of, I knew I was looking to trim some of Intel, so I trimmed like 10%, put that money right into ARM literally the next day, or wait for it to clear. But yeah, so that was the last play for me. I am a little bit concerned with them. Marvell's apparently flushing. Ooh, boy. Somebody knows something? Someone always knows something. But Intel would be taking if that were the case. Marvell is unusually weak today. 3% down. This was trying to make a big breakout on the daily. It's been a stock that's a rocket ship. They don't even report till the end of the cycle, everybody. Like, this is, I don't know. I didn't see a news story for them, but they report. Oh, you know what? I was wrong. Apologies. I said they report the 22nd because I thought they'd just be right around when NVIDIA did. They're a week after, February 29th. Like, these guys don't report for a full month, and they're potentially retesting this breakout price. This was on an absolute tear. Could just be somebody going risk off. That's a fair guess. Like, could be somebody, like, just a lot of people going risk off on Marvell, because this is wild. Marvell on earnings has moved more than any of the other chip names the last two times. Like, it's been ridiculous. So I would suspect there's some people looking to back off as well. Netflix is still pumping. We got 90 seconds to go here. I'm not putting any new positions on. You guys know this. Sean's getting ready at the desk, and Netflix is at the high of the day. My goodness. Congratulations. Wow, Netflix. Are you kidding me, Sean? Netflix is at 561. It's at the double top. It's at yesterday's highs and still going to the upside. I don't have the bang on my board. Like, I don't know why. I don't have the bang. I recently got the siren, but I don't have the bang key. But anyways, Netflix 3%, super strong. You guys know what's up with their earnings. I'm glad I'm finished with Disney and only now hold Netflix. To me, that's the right decision. These guys are powerhouse. They're just going to continue to work. Oh yeah, Tease Trade. Oh, with less than a minute to go, I forgot to mention this because I actually bought some UNH at the in the middle of the day here. Look, I know this is a stock that I've owned, and when it gets to the bottom, I like to go long. That's when you do it. So 560 top, 460 bottom, broke the 50 period. That's 200 period moving average. I picked some up during lunch when it bounced off that 480 level. My personal account. I didn't trade the stock today, so own a little bit more UNH than I did yesterday, because of that little flush. Humana had bad earnings. That's part of the reason it's been trending down, but it's a good one there. Let's get on over to, get the camera off me. The countdown's on. We got 4, 3, 2, and 1, ring it. Markets closed. NASDAQ 0.1% to the upside. The ES fared better at 0.5% to the upside. Obviously, you guys know just now that Netflix closed on the highs of the day. Tesla officially 12% to the downside officially for Tesla. And remember, it actually bounced 1% up. So all EVs were generally bad. I think Nikola was okay for a hot minute there, but a big red stain for Tesla, despite the fact that the market was able to hold up. As always, shout out to Fabian and Remain doing a great job on the ones and twos. Great midday show. It's always great, but we love to be able to give you Learn to Trade with Adara and Sharif. I'll pop on, give you the real deal. But you know what's up here. Oh, I got to thank Frank. Yeah, Frank and Brendan, of course. Frank actually pumped the markets when they were at those lows. And you pull up a chart of the ES at about 245 and see what Frank did. He dropped knowledge and he pumped the market to the upside. So I want to thank Frank, as always, for coming through. We had Rahim Alani this morning doing a great job as well. He was talking all about the lithium. So if you missed that, check it out. Talking about some lithium plays with the EVs being in play, of course. As always, it's past 4 o'clock. You got Intel earnings, WDC, you've got T-Mobile, and I'm forgetting one of those, but it doesn't matter. It's a market recap show at the desk with Sean.
Let's go. Intel's getting destroyed. Welcome to the show right now. It's $44. Intel, see you later. What in the world is going on, man? I'm glad I sold some shares yesterday. Down to $45 goes Intel. Welcome to the big show right now. This is your market recap, but we're starting it off with earnings, and it's Intel and its downside. Let's go over to Ben Zink and find out exactly what's up with that right now. Intel, here it is. T-Mobile as well. Quickly on T-Mobile. What's T-Mobile stock? See ya, that one to the downside as well. We're getting some downside movement here in the after hours. Welcome to the show. This is your market recap show, but it's also earnings time. We had it for you yesterday with Tesla and Netflix day before. Now we've got Intel for you. Adjusted EPS, 54 cents, beats 45. So you would say that was good right now. Company reported quarterly sales of 15.4 billion, which beats. So why is Intel down? We'll have to find out more about that. Here it is right here, sales beating. Everything seems fine on this end. We'll wait to hear about why. Here's the outlook. Core adjusted EBITDA expected to grow 9% for T-Mobile. So we have to find out, is that higher or lower than what was expected? Intel right now, the numbers don't look bad. Q4 sales beat, earnings per share beat right now, 54 versus 45. But for some reason, Intel go boom to the downside. Let's see if it's holding though. I don't really see why that went down there. Intel right here. Let's switch it up. Let me put a day on here instead of a 1 minute chart because I want to see where it is on the 200 period right now. We'll switch this over to a 1 minute. Okay, guidance is lower, Neil just mentioned. So, okay, so Neil saw that. So right there, we are now below this $45. That's the 50 period moving average. I thought Intel, you guys asked about it. I thought we were gearing up for that beat. I thought we could get up to $51, $52. We're not horrible. You're only down to 47, man. I mean, we were at $47 a week ago, so it's pulling back in here. This could be a good buying opportunity for Intel. Don't know. We'll wait for more on that one. But there goes Intel. Nicely done to the downside. And then T-Mobile as well to kick it off. Thank you, Fabian, for the water. T-Mobile 157. And T-Mobile, again, back to the 50-period moving average. Look, we're on YouTube right now. We're on Twitter. I want to say hi to everybody that's with me here now. We'll do roll call in a couple minutes. Here's the sectors. I don't even have the show up, I just realized. I got to get the show up so I can see who's here with me. We had USO today. Nice move for USO. Look, that bottom, you guys know, we talked about it. I chose XLE. To buy at some of these bottoms. It was same kind of levels here, 80 bucks. Look, it's not up that much. I don't think you missed the boat, but energy's gonna be back, right? I mean, now that we have some little bit of strength now in China, you've seen FXI, we've had recession talk of potentially no more. Brendan, we had that huge GDP number this morning, 3.3%, really got us skyrocketing, but then the pullback came in. I was just joking. I was like, yo, Algo team, turn those things on to the short side. That would have been a working one. Here we go. What's up, Dan Emmons? Here he is right here. Higher targets in play. All right, he's talking about the ES, 49, 49, 49. Thank you for Dan on that one, but we're not doing that right this second. Right here, we had XLE and USO. Nice moves today, right? So oil prices today, faster than expected growth in the first quarter for Brent crude with the supply. So that's not good. Geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and disruption of the Red Sea corridor were factors influencing oil prices during the first quarter. But it seems like maybe we're past all of that. Good GDP number, and remember, to me, that's more important. If oil is going to be on everyone's mind, obviously, if you head into recession, that's horrible for oil. Oil was going, that was part of this move, right? That was part of this move down. People worried about China, people worried about the oil trade. But now it looks like it's bounced back up. I choose XLE. You could choose whatever you want, USO or crude themselves, also not bad. Up to $72 and starting to go again. Damn you, Sharif, and those gorilla legs of yours. He hit the bottom right there on this chair, and it's going to the downside again. We might have to get another chair right here. He said his favorite animal was gorillas, so I don't know. Is mine's all the way is it the same size? Yeah. But anyways, it needs to be a little bit higher. We'll figure this out. Brendan's sitting over there right now as well. All right, so what was down today? Look, we had a nice move up for the housing index. I feel like this one could blast even higher here. Let me just check on Intel right now because everyone wants to see what Intel's doing, right? Intel right now still holding $45, $46 right here. We'll see where it can go from this point. $46 bottom for Intel. Trying to bounce a little bit higher. T-Mobile, what was the other name we wanted to wait for? Visa. Let's check out Benzinga to see if it's out yet right now. We also do have a pretty cool scanner here. Although it doesn't appear to be working. Play. Okay, there it is. And play again. All right. It stopped there. It's only 2-minute races, but it's supposed to re-go. Anything that hits, there's Visa right here. Look at that, up to 275. Nice little move up there for Visa as that is out. So that's a little scanner that we're watching. Capital One is out as well. Capital One with a miss right there for Capital One. 224 versus 264. Uh-oh, COF. What are you up to right now? Capital One, nice pullback, but not too dramatic. We'd look for a pullback into 120 for Capital One. We said Visa was out. All right, well, ho-hum on Visa right now, it looks like. Nice move up to 275, kind of fell back in right there. I don't think Visa, if you get an opportunity to buy these credit card names anywhere in and around 250, 260, I think you have to do that. Visa will pay attention to those guys. UNG, you know, it's pretty warm around here. We're in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and checks watch. Weather 3 degrees Celsius right now. So we're at like almost 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's summertime. Yeah, shout out to Ramin right there. We love summer around here for sure. Summer in Canada is about 3 months, maybe. What do you think it starts there, Breno? June? I'd say June, July, end of August. Yeah, I think we got 3 months there. That's not too bad. Spring is kind of, just around the corner here right now. So that's what we're talking about with UNG. That name continues to get beat up. And if we zoom in a little bit here on UNG, the other way. Okay, it's not going. LIT, lithium. You see LAC these days? Huge downside move. Lithium continues to make moves lower. That's starting to happen right in front of our face. Led by, look at LAC. This name getting absolute, like why is lithium, I gotta find out about this, man. $4 for LAC? Yuck. Downside move for that name. SMH today pretty flat. Check out that move in AMD midday, man. We are, I guess not really midday, but I guess midday. Yeah, why not? 1150. Huge move to the downside and basically closing on the lows. If that's not a warning signal, then I don't know what else is. I don't remember the last time some of these chip names, and you guys will probably say it was yesterday, closed on their lows. NVIDIA did not. NVIDIA made the move back upside. So NVIDIA is still hanging out. Nice day for them, still positive. It was AMD that started this downside move, right? Actually, sorry about that. It did not close on its lows. It closed up here at 180. This downside move is brought to you by your friends at Intel right now. So the market's starting to head lower because of Intel. AMD did battle back. We had a great short on that name. We'll talk about that when we go over my tweets. But for right now, or the sticky note review as well, we have FXI basically flat. Other than that, IWM nicely done today, cooking to the upside a little bit anyways. I think the IWM has a little ways to go. I don't really want to buy that name until we get, I don't want to buy anything until we get to the 50-period moving averages on everything. So we'll have to wait. The Qs, I mean, look how hot they continue to be. Although today, did we finish green on the NASDAQ? We must have, right? Right at the end of the day, got up there. So there it is, a little bit of a bump up in the NASDAQ there, just pushing to the Greensville. So that seems like a lot of days now. NASDAQ still taking out some of those highs. The SPY as well continues to move higher. That finishes the day red. Where's SPY on here? SPY, there it is right there, up 0.5%. Check out the XLF. Some of us, including myself, we thought the banks were going to have a downside push off earnings. They did do that, but that was not very long lasting. That's now back up to the upside with not all-time highs, but new highs right here for the XLF as that continues to go. Remember, its largest holdings, Berkshire Hathaway. So as Apple continues to make highs and some of those other banks, BAC, a big holding in Berkshire, Wells Fargo as well, continues to make moves to the high side. Look at Bank of America. I mean, missed opportunity there. We talked about buying names down to the 50-period moving average. That Bank of America did hit that. It got down there at 31.50 all the way back up to 33 and change. Good move for Bank of America. Everyone have a sip. Refreshing vodka. Now it tastes so much better. All right, we had a crazy day. We're gonna have Ms. Shay on here hopefully in a couple seconds. Well, maybe 5 minutes coming through. Look at Tesla. So again, earnings, not fantastic. They talked about notably, you know what, the margins, X credits was actually flat to up. So their margins are fine. They're still under control. Even with some of those EV credits in there, I think you got 17.6 versus 18.1. So margins are still there. They're cutting prices on purpose. Did you see what they did to Rivian? They kicked that thing to the curb. You see what they're doing to all the other names? Fisker's 80 cents. These companies can't compete. But again, Tesla, you're going to have to pay to wait. They're trying to build that Model 2, or I don't know if we have a name for it. We have a name for the project. I can't remember what it is. But they're trying to get that on a lower platform, right? So it's going to be a little bit cheaper, coming in near and around 30 grand. BYD has a vehicle, I think Randy was talking about it, 23,000 euros. So that's in and around that price. Tesla right here has to hold this 170. You're already, we can keep going over this, man, but there's not many big cap names that are underneath this low for Halloween. That October 31st low, you are now well below here for Tesla and starting to go lower. So we'll find out about that. Congratulations to Ms. Shay. She called this short. She's been short, and that's a print factory right there for Tesla as that comes back down into the downside. Now, you might be saying, well, you know, Danielle Shay nailed that, Tesla, for those of you trading options and everything like that. But guess who trades intraday? This guy. And guess what we were looking at today intraday? Sticky note. And guess which way it was? Oh no, we talked about short right there on Tesla today. There it is, as it was written, 190 short sell. So let's just go over quickly and look at Tesla and how we traded it. So here's Tesla today. Danielle's gonna be like, dude, why the heck did you get out at 186? So I'm gonna have to have an answer for that. This is me talking to myself, by the way, right now. So here we go. I do that often, very, very often. Oh no, look at these wicks. Boo wicks right now. So unfortunately, this chart is gonna look absolutely ridiculous. Trust me when I tell you there's big moves here. Here's our short, man. We shorted it early, 190, shorted 190.50, shorted 190 again, shorted and we got a nice wick right off open, man. 188. That was $2. We should have maybe stopped there. Nah. And then when it started going back up, we're like, oh man, we got to hold that 200 period moving average. And guess what? It did hold that 200 period moving average. But as it was coming back down, we're like, oh my God, we got to get out, we got to get out. So we did that. These are all profit takes, right? So they're just not much. Then it comes back in right there. We got a 188.50. Then it takes VWAP and we're like, oh, let's get out of another piece. 189.50. But remember where we're short, man. We're short at 192. So 189.50, I told you this is going to look a little bit skewed. Then it started to come back in and we're like, okay, here we go. We're short at 192. It's at 185. But guess what? It didn't break that 185. It kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And I actually thought 185 could have been a long. Then all of a sudden, it took the 50-period moving average and stuck above it. That's where we got out at 186. I'm going to slap a fail on it, but to have a $6 winner as a fail in this business is not that. But maybe I should have waited a little bit longer. But hey, I can't see the rest of this happening. Then all of a sudden, 185 broke. When 185 broke on Tesla, I couldn't even get short. I feel like it went down 50 cents almost immediately. That's too far for me. Then we tried the long. We got in and out of the long a little bit. Then it came down to 180 and hit those halo sounds. Then 180 came into play, and that was the level. Those were the levels that you wanted to hit up. So there's 180. Look at our first out, man, 181.40. So we go bang on that, $1.50. Then we get a little bit higher than that. Then it goes up to 183. That's $3. So remember, a couple bucks early, add on a couple bucks late. All of a sudden, we're taking $10, $15 on this name today. So that's bigger than the whole move pretty much. And then there's an out right there at the end of the day at 182.65 to close it out. Tesla, well traded. I like it. But that's old news. We're going to trade more tomorrow, and that's going to be included with Tesla and Netflix. Netflix was a great mover today. Let's go back over just to some other names here. Intel. We got to cover some names that actually reported. So Intel does make that move. Look at the bounce. Pretty much at, the 50-period moving average is where I want to start buying names. I don't want to buy Intel, though. That's not one for me. But $45, that came in. And look at this. That little bottom right there is 45.62. Where's the 50-period moving average? 45.78. So just playing off that would have given you a clean $2 or so. You're at 47. Well, it went up to 47. Yeah, I guess that's $2. Now you're in the money about $1.60 on that trade. Watch out for this level slipping. 45.60. The other name that came out, of course, was Visa. Maybe we'll talk to Danielle about this one. This is a name that just keeps on climbing to the high side, and we could have some support in and around 260. Feel like that's a buy zone there for Visa, so we'll have a look at that. Another name that came in, we wanted to do Visa. What was on the poll? Visa, Intel. Wait a second. I have the poll right here, don't I? The poll's closed. It was Visa, it was Intel. What else was it, guys? What else reported here? Hold on a second. We'll just go over to our Benzinga recap here and find out what exactly else reported here today. KLAC, we can look at this. Used to be a big name, man, KLAC. We had TMUS, that was a good one, and WDC, right? So let's find out. Here's WDC right here. We kind of left that one for dead. Western Digital, Q3 revenues, nice revenues, beating on that one, but oh no, wait a second. That's a beat, right? When you go minus 10 cents versus estimate minus 42, that's a beat. So let's go find out here what happened to WDC as well. So it looks like if you selected Intel, you're going to be the winner between Visa and Intel. WDC, Western Digital, this was my choice. And yep, this one might be the winner. From 60 bucks all the way to the downside, 57. Not looking great here. Western Digital misses and Intel misses, and AMD continues to push that 178, right? It pushed 178 back up to 178.50 right now. Check in on NVIDIA, and then one more on TMUS, and then we got to go over to Danielle. As if I'm making her wait. You guys kidding me? All right, TMUS right now. Okay, so T-Mobile also a downside move. If she's ready, I'm ready. It's Trader Talk. Hi, Danielle. Congratulations. It was Tesla earnings day, and if I'm not mistaken, you've been looking for the short.
Yes, that's correct. I was looking for the short pre-earnings, and then I shorted it on earnings as well. I actually just made a video and I posted it on my YouTube channel. I haven't posted too many videos, but I'm trying to do more. So if you want to check out the option strategy in detail, you can look for the review there.
What is it? What is the YouTube channel? Is it called The Option Strategy? What is it called?
Trader Danielle, that's it.
Trader
But make
Danielle.
sure you get the right one. Here, you gotta go to my name in the bottom.
Okay, we'll
Right
go to
here.
We'll find you at Simpler Trading. You guys can go find that. We'll go find out about that trade. But hey, margins were okay. It was that notably. Yesterday we had Tammy on and we were talking about that, and she had highlighted levels like 191, 192 for possible support, which is why I actually shorted those levels, because we went well under those and now we go a little bit lower. Danielle, are we looking to buy Tesla at any of these levels? Is there anything you want to show me here? I'm going to call the chart up. I don't know if you have it up. I'll give you a second to go try to get it. But here's Tesla. I said to everybody, I bought some today at 186. So that was kind of just fun money. Let's try to get some real money in maybe if we approach this 170. But if we look back at a weekly chart, Danielle, and you and I have talked about this over and over again, this is 181. If I go and I go all the way over here, this goes back to November of 2020. So unless you were able to trade in and out of this using options, you've been basically sitting here in dead money now for 3 or 4 years. Are we buying this dip, or we just let this thing fizzle out?
So, I've been looking for a spot to buy the dip, but the way that I do it on earnings is I start off by looking at the expected move. The expected move for Tesla earnings was 15 bucks. So if it falls the expected move, generally you could buy it, but that would have been at 195. We careened through that level. We weren't able to hold 185. 180 is like the last zone of support. So I think it's pretty dicey. I'm not buying it here. The longer term monthly chart still looks okay, but it's really starting to break down. Yeah. So I've been looking for a spot to buy it, but I just don't think this is it. Now that it's had a greater than expected move, I think we're going to see lower prices, probably down into 175, even 170.
Yeah, those were some of the levels that I was looking at myself. And by the way, our chat is like subscribe. So I think when you check out that YouTube channel after this, you may have a few more subscribers, and it'll be me included. I'm going to head over there myself as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for supporting everybody that we have on here. You already know this, Danielle. We have the best audience, so they're going to support you, and they love you. So thanks for all of that. Okay, Tesla's in the rear view. All right, so now we don't worry about it. We have AMD coming through on Tuesday evening. That's something pretty key. We just had Intel make moves to the downside. Is there anything right now that you're talking about, maybe putting videos out, something like that? What can we now look forward to? Is there another name that's on your radar? Google just hit all-time highs today as well, breaking through 151.
Yeah, of course. So let me talk Intel with you, and I'm happy to look at AMD too. I mean, just starting off with Intel, I love the setup here. I think that the longer term trend looks great. You've got a monthly chart. You've broken through a lot of areas of resistance. On the weekly chart, same thing. You've been recovering really well. And the daily chart looks phenomenal. We've got a nice consolidation, cup and handle. We had a nice breakout last quarter after earnings. So I have to say, I'm not too thrilled with the move after hours. I was long Intel going into this earnings report. So I may take a loss on that options trade tomorrow. But here's what I look at is I look at what the expected move was. And if it's just down within the expected move, then I can buy some tomorrow. The expected move on Intel, it was $3.64.
Right.
So you're sitting at 429. So this one, we might be able to buy it at the 8, at the 21 EMA tomorrow. So I like to look out for those post-earnings moves.
Is that something that you do there? Is that something that you do there, Danielle? Is that you'll look to see where we are as far as the expected move, and then if it's something that's a little bit, you see that? I was looking at that camera, then right over here. That's pretty good, getting better. Is that something that you look at consistently? Like, how close are we to being right? Because obviously, expected moves are derived from the options market.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely what I trade in the options market. Because, you can sell premium looking for stocks to stay within an expected move. That's a typical strategy that I'll use all the time. I did that with Visa and American Express. But then I'll also make trades looking for other stocks like Tesla or like Netflix to go outside of the expected move. And it's a great way to make post-earnings trades. So, like I said with Tesla, because it went outside of the expected move and because it broke support, that's when you can short it. But if something stays within the range, that's a great opportunity to come in and buy the dip because it was a normal expected move. especially if it can pull back into a key support zone.
Okay.
Those are going to be reasons why you can come in and make a post-earnings trade.
Intel to me seems like so old school. Like I feel like, I mean, because it is. I mean, it's in the Dow. It's like that. Like, you know, I don't love it as much as AMD or NVIDIA or some of those other names, but there's nothing wrong with slow and steady. Can we look at those charts again? Because if I buy it, I agree with you, because I just said on the show before that, come over to my chart here quickly, and I'll let Danielle maybe load something else up if she wants to. I was looking for names, Danielle, at the 50-period moving average, because I feel like, you know, a lot of them, you can wait for the 200, but that's just so far. And I know the put-call ratio, I believe, and you can maybe help me with this as well, is still towards the put side right now, being more heavily to that. So I could see a squeeze happening, especially if these Mag 7 names could beat. But if I buy down here at 45 and change, are we just like getting out if we break 40 or something like that? Like, I'm just a little bit nervous about sitting in here and buying a name like Intel, especially ahead of AMD and NVIDIA and some of these bigger guys. I would almost tend to favor buying an SMH or a SOX or something like that. That's more of an ETF. I'm a little nervous, Nancy, here about this Intel, but I'm glad that you kind of like it. I'm not sure where to get out if we have a problem. 10% might be enough for me down there near 40.
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely the 50-period simple. It's a great spot to buy, and that's always where I have my stop on the daily chart.
Okay,
and, you
so
know, I
that's
mean,
your stop.
as a swing trader, it's a good swing stop, I
Okay.
think. So I agree with that, but I
Okay.
mean, it depends on where you get in. You know, if you bought it all the way up here, I'd probably take a stop at 47.5. So I'd like to buy around the 21 EMA or the 34 EMA. That would be a good spot, but 50 would be even better.
All right, what? Here's your time to shine. I mean, you already have with Tesla. We've already talked about that. I feel like you're long the banks. We've talked about that. And the banks continue to go higher and higher and higher. Is there anything maybe that I'm not looking at, or that people may not be looking at, or something that we could discuss? I want to have you on as much as we possibly can. You're going to be, I think you're on our show next week as well. So what can people look forward to here moving forward? Is there anything that's looking good as far as options are setting up, or something that you're looking at?
Okay, so I can't take credit for this one because my friend Henry in our Simpler Trading chat room found this one, but I think it's a great setup, and I was looking at this one right at the close.
Let's do it.
So this is Ulta.
Ulta Beauty.
Ulta has been in this nice consolidation after having a breakaway gap after earnings last quarter. I love tickers that have a breakaway gap after earnings because it just shows a lot of positive momentum, and you can see that it's been consolidating for quite some time, right? So you have that squeeze, and now we're starting to get volume coming into this stock. So I was looking at this one right at the close. I didn't get to get into it. I saw it a little bit too late, but I think you could trade it up into 500 certainly, and then next target would be about 507, 510. So that's something that I'm looking at getting into tomorrow.
You definitely nailed that. I mean, that looks, just even on my clean chart over here. Come over if you can. Yeah. Look at that top, guys. Nice name, Ulta Beauty. And of course, was pretty good during COVID. I mean, a lot of people there with their Zoom and everything like that needed to get all beautified, of course. And now I feel like that's a nice gap off earnings. And of course, I just looked it up, Danielle. March 14th is when they report. So you got a little bit of time. Obviously, they've had that gap there. So that's really nice and well above. I really appreciated what you said there about Intel. And that is that this should be the out, not the buy. So I feel like we could buy it and then use that as our out. I really appreciate that. That's all good. Look, Danielle, we're running out of time. And I have some sad news to tell you. Actually, you don't care. I have to go to the dentist today. And my appointment's like around 5 o'clock. And it's just next door. I was going to ask you, Neil doesn't like the dentist. I actually don't mind the dentist. Your opinion on visiting the dentist?
Well, you know, I hate going there. I have to listen to some music, but it's because I cannot stand the sound of the tools and the water and all of that stuff. But, you know, got to do it. So.
Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I had to get a cavity filled. I only have like 3 or 4 oh shoot, we're live in front of 4,000 people, okay. But anyways, I need to get one of those filled, so I'm not looking forward to it. And my daughter goes, oh my God, you're gonna get a needle in your mouth? And I'm like, geez, I hate needles. Like now I have to, anyways, it'll be all good. Oh, you know what my dentist does? Probably yours as well. There's a TV, there's one in front of you and one up there. So they asked me what I want to put on it. I just put on The Office, and I laugh, and it's all good. So that's that. All right, I really love that Ulta Beauty play. I see you've got the fire going. We love that, man. Get some hot chocolate, sit in front of that fire, and celebrate that Tesla trade. Congratulations again. It's Miss Danielle Shay. You can go find her at Simpler Trading. It's right there on the bottom, at Trader Danielle on X. Thank you so much, and go check out her YouTube page now. Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
Ciao, go Chiefs. All righty then. Yeah, Danielle Shay coming through again. And I should have talked to her more about the Chiefs there. I sort of forgot and threw it there at the end. Of course, Kansas City fan over there, Miss Danielle Shay. I see my wife in the chat. I love you. Thank you for watching. You can see I'm still here, so it's all good. No, that's fine. She knows I have a dentist appointment coming through as well. Let's check out Intel, $46. Let's check out TMUS. This is a market recap show, man. We'll do some market recapping here. TMUS downside. We also have earnings, so that's what we're doing. Let's check out Visa as well. Woo! Whoosh time here on Visa. This is actually, 266. This is getting close to some levels that I like again. This could be a name that we buy tomorrow. Let's wait to see what happens here on Visa. Again, I thought we had a decent little report there from Visa. Let me just search this up from Symbol there. I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, here it is right here. And again, this is Benzinga Pro. Go find it. Link in our description. Get the discount, whatever it is, it's there. All right, 2021, oh, sorry, this is adjusted EPS Q1 for 2024, 241 beat on sales as well. So we're gonna have to find out where the guide lines up here, right? So we'll find out about that, but for right now, it is a downside move for Visa still going. And again, I'm doing this all alone. The only information I have is what Benzinga has right there. So besides parsing through all of that, which would be boring for you, we'll just look at price action for now. XLF is what I'm interested in. I think you can buy some banks. All right, what did I have it written on there? All right, sticky note review. One of my favorite things to do is to talk about my sticky note. If you can't tell, here we go. We'll do this. Thanks, Fabian, for this graphic. There it is. I like that graphic right there. All right. Today, we had a great GDP number, 3.3 versus 2. But you know what? Sometimes good news is bad. And I just feel like we talked about this on the show. We had Raider Trader on as well. I thought that the cuts, and again, podcast, no market recap tomorrow on that one. But we have the podcast. So me and Brendan are going to be doing the podcast again. We've had 12 episodes. This will be our 12th episode. They've been fantastic. What I've been talking about was I thought that we got ahead of ourselves on the projected rate cuts. For some reason there, the CME Fed rate tool, the street, projected like 6 cuts. With this GDP number, is there a reason for the Fed to cut? That's what we have to think about. We're looking for unemployment to be a problem. That would somehow, for me, start to trigger something. But it looks like the economy right now, GDP, we ain't going into any recession. Can they just keep it steady right now? Watch out for mortgages, watch out for homes and things like that. We'll look out for PCE. But hey, January 31st is just around the corner. In fact, next Wednesday, that's when we're going to get that news. We'll wait. We'll check the CME Fed rate tool. Now under 50% expected for a rate cut, when that was in the 70s a month ago. So we'll have to watch out for that. But okay, so there it is. Palantir long 17. That hit in the pre-market and nothing else. Let me just quickly look at Palantir because this is a stock that we really love to trade. I thought Palantir was finding a bottom down here. I still think it is. This is a name, you're under the 50-period moving average. I still have a bid at $15. It's just sitting there. It's like $15.05. That's where I want to buy this name. I thought this morning 17 would be a great one, and it was. I wrote that down here at 8 o'clock. The GDP number, ripped it through 17. It hit 17, 16, but the market wasn't open yet, so we didn't hit that. Right? It did come back in, and it turns out that that little wick right there was the top of the open market. And what was it? 17. So we were right about the price, but wrong about the direction. We didn't have an opportunity to get in. It didn't give us the 17 break long, and thankfully so, as it makes the move down. Obviously, we talked about Tesla on the sticky note, Apple on the sticky note, Apple short. Are you kidding me? We had that Apple short, baby, and this is why I was frustrated. Look at this Apple short. We called Apple short 195. This is 195 right here. Literally, boom, down to 193. Banger on that one. And then PayPal, we wound up here. Let me just go to my chart for PayPal. PayPal, we had written down as a long. I got to get going here because dentist waits for nobody. Well, they'll wait for me because I'm a paying customer. But let's just see here. We had PayPal long early, right here, long, and it was working. We took a little bit of an out as it broke through 63. Then we got 63.30. Then we got 63.55, and it was cruising, cruising, cruising. It was all the way up, guys. This was more than $1 in the money as we're waiting for the 12:30 event. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, about that AI event. We tried to go long here at 62, failed, got out. Tried to go long here again at 60. For some reason, we got out when it broke 60. Then short, and then that's what really started to pay. That short 61.20, out 60.85, out 60.50, and then again our last out at 60.50 again. So those shorts really started to pay off there at the end of the day on PayPal. And I went on a little bit of a rant of having the ability to flip your position, right? We were long PayPal ahead of that news. It went $1.40 or whatever in the money, as we just said, and then boom to the downside when that news was a nothing burger of their AI. And I don't even know what it was. We'll have to talk about that tomorrow as we do more research tonight. Yo, shout out to Alan Smith right now because you're just got rocket, rocket, rocket. And what a time to do that because it's roll call right now. So get ready. I'm going to say hi to those of you that stay here because traders stay late and we're running out of time right now. So that was a good day to trade, man. Again, we didn't talk about it, but we raised the trophy again, man. All those traders that you see around us, people get sometimes a little upset, but we were top again there today. We're happy with that. I'll tell you when we're at the bottom as well. We could have been, if AMD didn't fall down, man, we were eating crow today, but AMD did come down in. Yo, what's up, Emma? You're here as well. What's up to Spruce Tree? What's up, or no, that's not Spruce Tree. What's up to Ryan? What's up to Mike Pena? Jimbo Slice is here. Crypto blogger. I cannot make roll call without saying what's up to my main man over there, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you so much for moderating. The best in the business, man. Our chat is clean and crisp and on point. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. What's up to Andrew? What's up to everybody here? Let's see if I can find some new people. What's up to Sweet and Salty? Hey, we've got a new member. What's up to Shahab? Nasir, thank you so much for coming through. Hey, Pierre. Bonjour to you as well. From hot and sunny Naples, Florida. I'll go to Florida. Actually, the last trip we took our kids to was Rome, but before that was the sunny beaches of Miami, Florida. So shout out to MIA. Yo, Joseph. Yo, Darwin. You're so fresh and so clean. We like that. Use that soap, my guy. Juan Padilla's here. Thank you so much for the gift. Lusick again, although I will not receive that. What's up to the supplier's delivery? Adventures with Dale, April. Look, everybody, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm doing this for you. We're bringing on the guests. We're talking about some trades. We're going over earnings. It's the Market Recap Show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm back here tomorrow at 8:30, as long as we don't get a cavity issue here. We're back tomorrow. Actually, even if I can't talk, it's probably better for everybody, as long as we can just trade. That's all that really everyone's here for. Thank you so much for watching again. I'm up on LinkedIn as well, man. We're posting market recaps. We're trying to get some more exposure. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We have some wicked stuff on Instagram lately. That trading floor reel was real cool. Go check that out as well. Lots of fun here. We're getting tired, but tomorrow's a brand new day. It's Friday. The weekend should be fun, and so should trading tomorrow, as we got Intel, Visa on our mind. We'll trade a little TMUS as well. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a hell of a day, and I'm super exhausted. I'm coming home right after this. My kids got chess. It's dentist, then home. I'll see you soon, Marissa. See you, everybody.